Good afternoon and welcome, everybody. This would be the Jeff Cameron Show right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Thanks for tuning to it. I'm Jeff. That's Tom. We're online, ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you go to listen live via the streaming free always. Miss anything? Hey, it happens. Don't worry about it. All 3 hours are going to be posted both on iTunes and in our own audio vault upon the conclusion of the program. Hey, we're on iTunes. We're on our own page. You can find us. Email the show if you like. It's jcs at 979espnradio.com. On Twitter, it's at jcameronshow. WTSM app for your mobile devices. Yeah, caught up. YouTube, ESPN Tallahassee. So as we get started today, let's just say the week has taken a weird turn, right? It's hard to, I got to say, I'm not melancholy or anything, but we're all preoccupied. Everybody is. I got it. A lot going on. For those of us in the state, especially if you're listening to me in the southern portion of the state. Hey, listen, thanks for listening, obviously, and our thoughts are with you, so get to safety and do what you got to do. Batten down the hatches. Is this thing taking a right turn, Tom? Have you checked the weather window? This would be a time where the weather window needs to be reincorporated into the program.
Yeah, I haven't seen the 2 o'clock models, but as of the 11 a.m. models, there's been a continuation in the last 24 hours that sees most forecasts in the forecast cone, if you will, of where the hurricane is.
That's what I call it, the
move.
Forecast cone, Tom. I say, hey, anybody check the cone yet?
It has shifted from somewhere kind of flirting with the Gulf Coast to more likely than not to be at the central part of the state eastward, perhaps even making its way up the Atlantic Ocean, up the east coast of the state of Florida. So that can change at a moment's notice. We all know that because if you looked at the computer models 2 days ago, most said Gulf Coast, and here we come, for Tampa Bay, Tallahassee, everywhere in between on the west coast of the state. But as it stands right now, it looks like Hurricane Irma is forecast to go up the east coast of the state of Florida, not the west coast.
Given that we all know as human beings that it's much more important to ready ourselves and prepare ourselves for things that have nothing to do with football when people's safety is at play here. Obviously, friends, family, and fellow Floridians are all doing just that. We got you. Don't mean to be callous as we talk about sports and football, but it is a sports talk show, and most of you are escaping some of your thoughts about the hurricane and some of the other things that Jose, who's behind that, and everything else that we're thinking about. You tune into this to escape a little bit, so we'll allow for that. Of course we will. As it pertains to Florida State and Louisiana Monroe, as of right now, that game is still scheduled to be played, but at a different time. If you didn't know, Florida State announcing that they will move the scheduled kickoff time of the game against ULM to noon Eastern time. So that's going to be a noon kickoff due to Hurricane Irma. All the parking lots, including those open to the general public and those assigned to Seminole boosters, will open at 7 a.m. Ooh, awfully early. Doak Campbell Stadium gates will open at the normal time, which is 2 hours prior to kickoff. So the quote from John Thrasher, if you're wondering how the university responded, this is what he had to say. We have moved the game after counseling with a number of state agencies, and based on the information we have and the potential impact of this on the state, the earlier start will give ULM the opportunity to travel safely after the game, provide many of our fans a chance to come to the game and return home in time to make any necessary preparations. Needless to say, but I will await further details. We'll see. I don't know. That could change further still. I don't know that. I'm not saying it will, but we don't know that we've heard the last yet of any sort of alterations to the schedule.
Well, this makes the most sense, though, because, again, it's not just about what's the weather going to be like at Doak Campbell Stadium for kickoff. It's about, well, who's coming here and who needs to get back home and, what arrangements need to be made for anybody who's traveling within the state of Florida. There's obviously going to be an influx of people moving from the southern part of the state, evacuating further north within the state. So there's just a whole lot of logistics that, you have to consider. Miami, for example, they're playing on the road this week. They were supposed to.
Yeah, canceled that game.
With Arkansas State, but they canceled the game because how are you going to get back home? The questions aren't always just about what's the weather going to be like at kickoff for our game. There are a lot of surrounding questions, and this being the state capital, I think that's often on our mind because we hear a lot from the government and the agencies that tell us we're in a state of disaster in a certain part of the state, what organizations are going to be available to our citizens of the city of Tallahassee or the state. For example, Hillsborough County down in Tampa, their public schools are closed tomorrow and Friday because the public schools are going to be serving as shelters for those that are evacuating from the southern part of the state. So there's a trickle-down effect here, and that's where Florida State is reacting, and reacting smartly, I think, to move this thing from a primetime kick to a noon kick.
Florida State head football coach Jimbo Fisher did have his weekly ACC teleconference call. He did talk about the loss to Alabama. He said that a big factor in the loss was allowing the momentum of the game to switch in favor of Alabama. That kind of makes me roll my eyes. I get it. That's a larger talking point and a less specific one. But he was, and he continued sort of a theme here, and I get this too, that he was proud of the team. He thought that certainly they competed, and I think that's true when you consider that the defense was out on that field as often as they were pinned against their own goal line, certainly in their own territory. 5 consecutive possessions inside the 50 will hurt your feelings, and yet they didn't really buckle. They continued to fight, compete, and that was different than from a year ago. That's important. They didn't always do that. That is a good sign. So I wasn't surprised to hear Jimbo Fisher say he was proud of the way the team competed and that he thought that there were elements of the game that had they done a little bit better, they would have been right there in the end. I think that's true. He did talk about, obviously, the disappointment of losing DeAndre Francois for the season. But he did say this, and I think he's right about this as well. You can't worry about injuries. It's just football. Coaches are sometimes cold when it comes to injuries, and it's because they have to be. You have to send the right message to your team. If you sit around and wallow in self-pity and you overreact to any one player, whether it was Derwin James a year ago or DeAndre Francois this year, you send the message to your team that you're screwed and that this is one you can't get over. And you cannot do that. I think that's especially true when you lose your starting quarterback in week 1. From what we can gather, everybody on that team has immense respect, and rightfully so, for DeAndre Francois. And so it stands to reason they would all be devastated by his loss. But they are going to play the rest of these games, and you do have to compete and have opportunities to still achieve. So I'm not surprised to see him so quickly sort of just, when asked about it, turn the corner and begin the process of praising James Blackman, because that's a guy now that you're turning to that you have to instill with confidence. And so rather than talking about a lot about DeAndre Francois, he already said what he needed to say in the post-game press conference, that he loved him. He said everything he needed to say there. I told him I was sorry and that I loved him and that we would await the surgery. And, that's all you can do. Once you do that, you have to turn the page and you have to move to James Blackman. And this has been a week where many of the Seminole faithful have turned to this show and other outlets to try to find out something about James Blackman, who's going to make his first ever start at quarterback and is going to do so as a true freshman. And what does that mean for the season? What does that mean for the game? What does that mean for the future of the program at that position? These are all valid talking points, and they've already been talked about a lot, and we're only on Wednesday. But again, Jimbo Fisher reiterated, he said that they're very confident with him and that he's throwing the ball very well, has looked good in practice this week. I get it. He's not going to come out and say, boy, Blackman sucked today, guys. That was something to see. We're in deep trouble. My God, does he look like a freshman? I wouldn't be surprised if we're in a dogfight in the second half against ULM. He's not going to say that, nor is that going to be the case. But I believe it to be genuine. I think there are elements of what Blackman does that Jimbo's excited to see. It's going to allow him to call the game differently. And I do think that they're going to rely heavily on running the football and playing great defense. And that's why special teams, even in a game like this, where, frankly, the outcome is really not in question, has got to show signs of improving, vastly improving. I need to see this weekend more than I need to see anything else. I'm more excited to see James Blackman play, but that's not what I need. I need to see special teams improve.
Oh, frankly, I don't even care as much about a punt return for a touchdown as I do that the punt returner is comfortable getting underneath the ball and catching the ball.
Yeah, catch the ball. I need to see my punter punt the ball well.
Exactly. It's very much a process type game because we've returned punts and kicks against low-level competition, every year, it feels like. But we know when we face the big boys or we face somebody who's at least close to where we are from a talent standpoint, man, there's a deficit, and we're giving away yards. we're giving away a lot
The
of
hidden
free
yards
opportunities.
are devastating us right now.
Well, I saw the stat. I think Tomahawk put it out earlier in the week that if you look at the hidden yards,
200 and something.
it eclipses Florida State and Alabama's total offense. The two of them individually, which is just incredible. And we gave away all those yards in a game where you felt like through a half you were the better team, and we were able to, in some ways, overcome what our special teams was putting out there until we weren't. Until the special teams made sure of it that we were going to lose the football game.
It'll hurt your feelings watching that game again. Did you go back and watch again?
Yes, I did.
Me too.
Yes, I did.
And you know what, by the way? Sorry. Listen to us. We're an old married couple.
Yeah.
I really felt good watching the game again
me
because there are so many plays that could be made, so many moments that, they don't capitalize on. The first half especially, you just think, again, to reiterate, 7 points was absolutely the fewest amount of points they could have walked off that field with. It's almost indescribable that they only walked off the field with 7 points in the first half. They're the better team in the first half. They're not the better team in the second half. Even removing special teams, they're not the better team in the second half. Alabama's defense is smothering in that half. Your quarterback makes some mistakes, and you got to give the other team credit for that too. So I don't know if they would have won the game, but they certainly would have given themselves an opportunity if they had cashed in a couple of times in the first half to be in the driver's seat, and that would have made Alabama force Jalen Hurts to throw the football. And I think Jalen Hurts and Alabama are in the similar place they were in a year ago. They have the opportunity to win week in and week out because they're talented, they're deep, they're dominant on defense, but they're not real good at quarterback. Not as a passer.
Yeah, it's not a stretch to say that you should be up somewhere between 4 and 10 points at the break, right? And yet you're down 3, and that's
give me the 14-10 lead. I'll
Sure.
see what we do there.
Yeah. The other thing I thought, outside of the bust, and I get you, the coverage bust, it hurts, and that's a big play that you don't want to see. But by and large, it's funny. We're talking about the defense this week, and there was a big-time coverage bust and really did score that touchdown. But we're not mad the same way we were last year where it was repeated time after time again. Guys just wide the hell open. I thought Ermon Lane was an excellent air traffic controller in that first half, especially getting everybody where they needed to go. There was a play in particular where McFadden comes up and he stops Hurts, who's running to his left. And McFadden would have run across the formation had Ermon Lane not stopped him and directed him to stay in the spot that he should be pre-snap. Then he's in position to make a tackle on the near side on Hurts. That's the value of a player like a LaMarcus Brutus in the past. Terrence Brooks certainly was excellent at it. We thought Derwin would be doing it a little bit more, but then again in the first half, he's closer to the line of scrimmage because Trey Marshall is out. Ermon Lane did a fantastic job outside of the coverage bust of getting people where they needed to go, and he and Westbrook together were fantastic communicating pre-snap to make sure we were aligned.
And
right.
I'm not even sure that's Ermon Lane on that big coverage bust. I was telling you.
Yeah, it's one of the two safeties.
It's Derwin, I think. I think it's part of the Rip Liz concept, and I think that we could go back and really analyze the cover 3 adaptation that they were in, and we could, it would make for a boring show. But I think that's kind of.
But I'm protecting against the communication because maybe the communication wasn't sound pre-snap, so you can't promise that Ermon Lane did or did not communicate what he was supposed to there. But the lucky thing about the camera angle in the new Mercedes-Benz Stadium is it's so far wide that you can see the way the safeties are moving pre-snap. So they shot the game pretty well, and you could just see that the communication on the back end of the defense was worlds better, and that has to be a reassuring thing for Florida State fans.
Ding, 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 ding. Charles Kelly passed the first test big time, and even for those that will then say, hey, listen, they didn't really see a team that can sit back there and throw it, well, Florida State was also, without question, moving guys towards the line of scrimmage to stop the run. So they didn't have to play a lot of coverage in that way. So I think they'll adjust just as you would accordingly. So then we'll see. We'll find out more then.
Yeah, there were some openings if there's a better quarterback out there. But then again, Florida State is scouting against Jalen Hurts, and they're saying, well, all right,
let him throw the ball.
Yeah, if you can make the throw on the second play from scrimmage where Ridley beats McFadden badly up the sidelines, if you can make that throw, well, okay, sure, it's a touchdown.
But you didn't show last year that you could.
Correct.
And we're not real sure you are going to this year because you're not a real good passer. And that's why you play the run. That's why you shut down the run. And that's what they did. And it was smart. Now, when they face teams that can really sling it, they'll approach it differently.
Well, and this is, Herbstreit pointing this out, and he had a so-so game as the
analyst. He did not have a good game at all when I went back and listened.
But the play where their tailback, his name escapes me, Harris, I think it is, picks up Derwin coming off the edge. That was their big GIF of the week that you see on Bama Twitter. He picks up Derwin in pass pro, and then that frees up Hurts to be able to fire the ball to Ridley up the seam. And Hamza is the one who gets beat in coverage pretty badly.
Hamza, by the way, actually recovered from that and played really well.
The hit that the one on Ridley, on the third down to stand him up, that's a true freshman going against a future NFL first-round draft pick.
Hamza's going to be a star.
Because then he gets up in his grill and he says, "Not tonight, man."
No. I like that kid a lot. Yeah, there was a lot, again, there was a lot to like when you go back and watch that game.
Yeah, Kirk was talking about, they're in man, so this is going to be an easy play for Hurts. Well, yes, of course, but you're designing the play to have Derwin James come on an overload concept and make a sack there or affect the quarterback. And it's just a nice pickup by Alabama's tailback.
Well, sometimes the other team makes plays, especially when they're Alabama.
Right.
That's what's going to happen. Yeah, it is going to happen. So Bucs Dolphins are canceled. And I want to get into that for a second. I also want to talk about Bobo Wilson from last night's Hard Knocks, just because we covered Bobo, we watched him here. Not a good look, man. Just surprising to me that that the Bucs put up with it, because he's just not very good. So I wouldn't. But that's an aside. Get into the fact that the NFL begins tomorrow, man. And as down as I am and sad that this hurricane has caused, obviously a lot of concern for people that go well beyond football, obviously, but this is a sports show. So as much as I get all that, Bucs Dolphins canceled. I feel like the NFL botched it, and they botch a lot of things.
Oh, buddy,
they botch a lot of things.
It's bad.
Damn it, man. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Blountstown Highway, 574-4100.
You put your mower through a lot. All that back and forth can add up to thousands of miles. That's like mowing cross country. Gravely commercial mowers are built for all-day performance, helping you get the job done mile after mile. Gravely, built to mow the distance.
Get your Gravely motor only at TNT Supercenter, your one-stop shop for work or play. 14585 Highway 19 South, Thomasville, Georgia. TNTSupercenter.com.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck, always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
You've got this solved because you know Sport Clips. And if you're already looking Sport Clips handsome, well played, sir. Well played.
Sport Clips haircuts. Find a location near you at sportclips.com.
Hi, Chris Kraft for Kraft Nissan. Once again, all of you with stellar credit ratings, congratulations. And this message is not for you. All year I've been talking about our New For You program to assist good people with things in their credit. And just last week, a friend of mine came into my office worried about his own credit rating. But thanks to our New For You program, you guessed it, he drove away in a brand new Nissan Altima. We are proud of the fact that we have helped hundreds of people that were previously limited shopping little used car lots where they overpaid, got huge finance charges, and had very few choices on cars to purchase. Some of those lots may actually hurt your credit more than they could ever help. So remember, credit score under 600? Come on in. Recent bankruptcy? Come on in. Recently divorced? Come on in. Think you have a financial problem we've never heard of? Come on in to Kraft Nissan. And come see the one dealer in Tallahassee that can really help you out. Come see the cars that everyone wants at the hottest dealer in town, Kraft Nissan. And remember, if you don't see the Kraft tag on your car, you paid too much, way too much. Kraft Nissan on Mahan Drive between Academy Sports and Costco, or visit us on the web at craftnissan.com.
Out on the golf course, there are the obvious hazards. There's the pond, the bunker, the rough, the even rougher.
Yeah, put me down for an 8.
The giant maples. The row of houses out of bounds on the right. The angry flock of geese who've surrounded your ball. Even the occasional groundskeeper you had no clue was there. But if you think you found every possible hazard out there, think again. The hazard you missed could actually be a killer. It's the spot on your skin. the one that could be skin cancer. Fact is, if you're a man over 50, you're in a group most likely to develop skin cancer, including melanoma, the kind that kills one person every hour. 1 in 5 Americans is likely to develop a form of skin cancer during their lifetime. That's why your best shot is to check for a spot. It's easy. Follow through and check your skin. It could be the save of a lifetime. Go to spotskincancer.org to find out how. A message from the American Academy of Dermatology.
When it comes to live gaming excitement, Creek Entertainment Gretna is your hometown headquarters. With live poker and simulcast race betting, you've got more winning opportunities right here close to home. Plus, we now offer 3-card poker and Pai Gow in our card room. Satisfy big appetites at Stables, featuring hot and cold sandwiches, salads, and weekend specials. There's always something exciting going on at Creek Entertainment Gretna, I-10 exit 174, Gretna, Florida.
Welcome to Wells Fargo. How can I help you?
Well, every day I get a latte from across the street, and trust me, it's best for everyone that I come to work caffeinated. Only today, I forgot my wallet.
Don't worry. We have a new way you can get money out of the ATM. Just use your phone.
My phone?
Just open your Wells Fargo app and request a one-time access code.
Oh, that's better.
Enjoy the latte.
You have done a great service for the people in my office.
No problem.
Wells Fargo is building better every day with new ways to access your accounts. Wells Fargo Bank N.A., member FDIC.
Beef O'Brady's Burgers across America with Des Moines Triple Bacon, Green Bay's 5-Cheeser, or the Memphis Love Me Tender. All made with premium blend Angus. Pick any 2 for just $17. Beefs, but your Angus, it's good.
You're locked in with the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. Really well written piece today by Kevin Seifert, NFL Nation, if you're wondering about the Ezekiel Elliott situation. Now, leading up to this, I haven't talked about it because, you're just beating over the head with it, right? But when you hear that the suspension is upheld and then you find out he's going to start in game 1, and you're only taking kind of a cursory glance on a daily basis as to what's going on with that situation, you might think, well, how could that be? And you're right to. But that article that I just referenced on ESPN.com would tell you the answer to that question as to how that works and why the suspension was upheld, but also why it's not going to be upheld. And he's going to play. Did you draft him?
I did. I actually got him in a league in the 3rd round.
Pretty late, right?
Oh, I mean, but 3rd round, if you look at some of the
he's going a lot. No, fantasy football, we're not doing that.
I'm not doing it.
But I'm telling you, he's going a lot sooner than that in most of these because they don't believe the league is going to be able to enforce the suspension.
Correct. I think it's going to be the type of Tom Brady deal where you get an injunction granted in court, and so therefore it'll be litigated after the season's over. Ezekiel plays all 16 games.
Yeah, here's the deal. If they deny the stay, Elliott's attorneys have already said that they're looking forward to having their day in federal court, which would mean that Ezekiel Elliott's going to sue the league. And that would mean that, hey, that's what we got going here. Now, if they grant the stay, then he's eligible to continue to play while he files the lawsuit that we've been talking about all along. What's interesting is that the NFL can basically do, as we now know, whatever it wants with player discipline. And the NFL's only argument in that situation, if you're an NFLPA, if you're a player and represented by the NFLPA, is that the NFL didn't follow their own process, that they went outside of the process. But the thing that sucks about that is that although the league and Roger Goodell admitted that they had concerns regarding the credibility of the accuser and, quote, there was a possibility of alternative causation to her injuries. Now, I don't know what happened there. I am not saying he's innocent, and I'm not saying he's guilty. Again, I don't want anybody to think that I'm taking a side here. I know how touchy that can get. I'm not blaming the victim or praising, allegedly, the abuser. I'm not. But when the NFL themselves come out and say that they have concerns about the credibility of the accuser and admit that there's the possibility of alternate causation, and then they choose to ignore it, it lends itself to second guessing, and in this case, what will be a lawsuit. And I find it fascinating. You know, the NFL, what players find to be completely unfair is the fact that the league, the way it's set up, is that Roger Goodell can look at whatever evidence they have, and even if it's overwhelming against what they're attempting to do, and even if they're told by an investigator in this case, which is what they were told, Kia Wright-Roberts argued against discipline for Ezekiel Elliott.
Yeah, that's not the investigator from anywhere but, you know, the National Football League.
Who interviewed the woman 6 times, her testimony, the alleged abused woman, the alleged victim, 6 times, and then came back and told the league that I don't think we should move forward with this.
Not a third-party person, someone that works for the NFL.
Right. So even though that's the case, Goodell then took the advice of Lisa Friel, his vice president and special counsel, and issued the 6-game discipline. And he can disregard any information or testimony or interview or evidence of any kind that he wants. He just can. They're in charge of the investigation, the aftermath, and the decision. And it's a closed circle. And because it's a closed circle, players think it's unfair, but that's what was agreed to in the CBA, which is also why we're in for a stoppage of play in the not-too-distant future. That's what you're going to have. There's going to be either a strike or a lockout. There's no way they'll continue to allow for this to exist. But for as long as this exists, these kinds of lawsuits and stays and injunctions and everything else that we read about involving star players after they've been disciplined by the league, this is going to be the norm, I think.
Totally agree with you.
I mean, it just happened with Tom Brady. It's now happening with Ezekiel Elliott. And I guess all of that comes back to this. Again, removing the criminal aspect, whether there was or wasn't, whatever it might be, as it pertains to a player on a football team and whether or not he's going to play. Basically, anytime the NFL is heavy-handed with a suspension and a team or a player decides, no, we're not going to abide by that, this is the route you're going to go. And those players are going to get injunctions, and they're going to play football, and then this is going to be litigated in the offseason.
Yeah, it's a warped way of the appeal process playing out. You know, you think about often in baseball, for example. You'll hear about somebody getting a 7-game suspension because he was taking part in a brawl at the mound. And so he threw a punch, he landed a punch, he gets 7 games. But he's going to appeal the suspension, so he'll be available for tonight's game against the Red Sox. It's the Red Sox and the Yankees, you know, and you think...
Brought to you live.
That doesn't feel right, but then again, you know, they through the CBA, they're allowed to appeal the process. The NFL players feel so strongly about their appeal process not being heard because it goes right back to Goodell that they say, we're going to have to go to the federal
Which is
court.
rich, by the way.
Right. It's like, I'm issuing the punishment. Well, I'd like an appeal. Okay, let me call the appeal officer.
Hello?
Hi, Roger. Hey, how you doing, Roger? Nice to talk to you, Roger. How about no? You know, I'm not reducing your number. So I get it. And frankly, I don't know that it's going to be something that the NFL takes off the table lightly because Goodell just got extended. So if he gets extended and he got a raise, that tells me that the NFL owners are saying, whatever you're doing is working. So let's keep the status quo.
Well, that's because they're making as much, if not more, money each year that they've been an owner in the league as ever before. So, of course, as long as they're not being cost money, affected by the loss of money, I should say, then they're going to do that.
Unless the NFL owners are just wise from a negotiating standpoint and they don't want to budge here because then they can make it seem like when they come to the negotiating
that they
table,
are doing something.
All right, we'll bend over backwards and allow some sort of panel with a league official, a players association representative, and a former player to decide punishments.
Hey, Tom, here's my question. This all gets so convoluted, and I've thought about this before, and I think a lot of people have brought this up. Most assuredly they have, right? It would seem the easiest way to do this. Why doesn't the league just follow the law? Why don't we just say, here's the deal. This person's accusing this person of a crime, and the investigation takes place, and if you're found guilty of the crime, then here's the suspension for this amount. If you're guilty of, I don't know, stealing $50 from somebody, you get this. If you're guilty of beating the bejesus out of somebody, you get this.
No, because the NFL likes to think and likes to say that they hold people to a higher standard.
Well, that's nonsense, and everybody knows that's nonsense. You let guys play that have done heinous things and been convicted. So no. Don't do that. Just use the standard of the law. Just say, here's the deal. If you are accused, obviously you have a right to an attorney and defense, and we'll let it play out in the court of law. And if you're found guilty, this is going to be your punishment.
I would say I agree with that on its face, except for one specific circumstance. So if the player is of means because they've been around for a little while and they have guaranteed money, and the accuser, let's say, doesn't have the legal fees to fight this thing all the way to the end and agrees to a settlement, what happens to a player at that point?
Yeah, you would have to come up with, yes, if they agree to a settlement, yes, you would have to come up with caveats to certain aspects of this. But this is based on what they think is evidence that shows he's guilty of domestic violence. Well, let the law find out whether or not he's guilty of domestic violence. Don't let it be a he said, she said. If he's charged and convicted, you have your answer. If he's not, then he's not. And it doesn't matter. Then you move forward. And you could be dubious. You can think that, well, he got away. Well, we do that all the time. But the system's a system.
What if the accused player pleads down, and so it's a lesser charge?
Then it's a lesser suspension.
Okay.
That's all. You just go by the letter of the law. If it's a misdemeanor, you get 2 games. If it's a felony, you get however. Now, you have to agree. Both sides are going to have to agree on what those punishments are.
I can see how that's cleaner, but I could also understand from a PR standpoint, which they're failing at miserably, and I grant you, that you'd want some sort of latitude, but you'd want it to be with a panel, an approved member of the NFLPA, the NFL itself, and maybe a couple outside people who are, either lawyers or whatever they are, former players, that can weigh in and decide and levy action. Because let's say that there's a photo, or let's say there's a video, like a Joe Mixon video or a Ray Rice video.
And it gets thrown out. It's not – yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, the evidence gets thrown out in the
court
of law.
And we know he did it, right.
What do? I mean, you hide behind the law at that point? Well, that's not right either.
But they're botching this in their efforts to
fully understand
what you're saying. They have failed miserably. And the NFL, as written by Seifert here, and this is why I said it's a good article if you want to go read the whole thing, the NFL's personal conduct policy requires basically it to conduct a credible, quote-unquote, credible investigation before handing out their discipline, right? So they have to do this. But the NFL runs the investigation, and the commissioner appoints the appeal officer. So it can define what credible is. And NFL players and the NFLPA are saying, well, I mean, nobody's accountable. I mean, they're never going to say we did not run a credible investigation. Roger Goodell is in charge of saying yes or no whether or not it was an incredible investigation, and then they view the facts through that lens. They're never going to say, well, we botched this. They're not going to do that, even when they botch it.
That's why I believe it's Friday the decision will be levied about whether or not this thing is going to it's going to be granted and Ezekiel can play until federal court has a chance to iron things out. The thing is, from an optics standpoint, there's another side to this. Ezekiel may be victimized, and I want to use that word lightly because I don't know the truth of the situation between his accuser and he. But he may be victimized by this unilateral discipline program from the NFL. True. But at the same time, I think we know the answer to this question, which is the CBA was agreed to, and both parties have to abide by the CBA. That's what happened to Tom Brady. So this is nothing more than a tactic to get him to be able to play all 16 games while this thing is extended out
without
into the
question.
courts.
And he may very well be guilty, which I don't know.
Right.
Which I don't know. But again, the way they're doing things now doesn't work. It hasn't helped them from a PR standpoint, which is why they were doing what they were doing. So they've tried to be proactive where they could find evidence. They have resources, they have the money, they have the ability to investigate. But because the procedure is such that it's a closed circle, it's not to be trusted because time and again, the NFL has shown that they are indeed capable of extreme incompetence. For example, the Ray Rice situation, in which there was indeed video and they didn't know it, and then made a decision only to have the video leaked, which then made them look like
right, and now here's an overreaction from that, potentially.
Right.
If there is no evidence against Ezekiel that's perhaps on video or something more concrete. But clearly what's going on right now is Ezekiel Elliott's team is saying, all right, our smoking gun bit of evidence is the NFL conducts the investigation. The person who actually does the work says, I recommend no discipline for Ezekiel Elliott. You discipline him anyway for a 6-game suspension, and you're going to call it credible. under the CBA.
Now, the NFL's argument, by the way, just so our listeners know exactly where you're going with it, you're right. That's what they're saying. The NFL's retort to that is there is no persuasive evidence presented on your behalf with respect to how she had the obvious injuries other than conjecture based on the presence of some bruising, which you say predates your arrival. So they didn't find his retort refuting that he had ever touched her to be credible.
Correct. So in layman's terms, the burden of proof is nowhere near the same as the court of law.
That's
it's
correct.
Not innocent until proven guilty.
No.
They're saying circumstantial evidence suggests you're guilty, and so therefore we're suspending you 6 games.
Yeah, and they're saying overwhelmingly guilty. They're saying that we have no doubts. And yet, again, the NFLPA is saying, well, I don't know how you could have no doubts when your own investigator is saying we shouldn't move forward with a suspension. So
and round it goes.
And that'll be the last we talk about it today. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
You can tell a lot about a tractor by its warranty. That's why Mahindra makes the toughest tractors on earth. With steel, not plastic. Backed by the industry's best limited powertrain warranty, period. Not 5 years, not 6 years, but a full 7 years on select models. No wonder the other guys are green with envy.
No money down, 0% interest, and no payments until July. Available at TNT Supercenter.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough, I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
By the way. Oh yeah, I thought Indiana looked strange.
Take on summer right with Ford, America's best-selling brand, during the Ford Summer Sales Event. Get 0% financing for 72 months on select Fusion, Escape, Edge, and Explorer models. Plus, get $1,000 on top of your trade-in. Offer ends August 22nd. Best-selling based on current year 2016 sales. Don't drive while distracted. Use voice-operated systems when possible. Don't use handheld devices while driving. Not all buyers qualify for Ford credit financing. 72 months at $1,389 per month per $1,000 finance regardless of down payment. Trade Assist Cash requires trade-in of 95 or newer vehicle or lease terminated 30 days prior to or 90 days after new retail delivery. See dealer or go to buyfordnow.com for complete details. Take delivery from dealer stock by August 22nd, 2017.
Professional every time, stay safe and dry inside.
Hey, this is Travis with Parker Brothers Roofing. No one besides us wants to hear that you need a new roof. It's one of the biggest home improvements you have to make, and Parker Brothers Roofing understands. We now offer financing for 0% over 60 months. Yes, that's 5 years. Call us today for 5 years interest-free financing on that new roof. 656-8112. That's 656-8112, or go to parkerbrothersroofing.net.
Parker Brothers Roofing, professional every time, stay safe and dry inside.
License number CCC 049350.
Might I suggest the chicken taco salad from Banditos Burritos, my friend?
97.9 ESPN Radio is proud to announce that Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac High School Scholar Athlete of the Month is back. We'll announce the monthly winners beginning next Wednesday morning from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. and again during the Jeff Cameron Show from 3 to 6. Last year, 8 female and 8 male athletes won the monthly honors and were automatically qualified as a finalist for the Dale Earnhardt Jr. $2,500 year-end scholarship. Last year, Leon High's Anna K. Ford and Rickard's Taven Jackson took home the grand prizes. Since its inception 3 years ago, Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac has given out over $20,000 in scholarship awards to high school athletes throughout the Big Bend. Beginning next week, you can check out all the Athlete of the Month winners by visiting our website, ESPNTallahassee.com, and help support our friends at Dale Jr. Check them out on the corner of Capitol Circle Northeast and Miccosukee, or visit them online at Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac.com.
Don't just listen to The Jeff Cameron Show. Watch it live. The Jeff Cameron Show Streamcast. Live weekdays 3 to 6 p.m. Head to ESPNTallahassee.com today to watch live or catch up on demand. The Jeff Cameron Show Streamcast. Brought to you by Nice Tire and Auto, your trusted Goodyear dealer. 574-4100. And presented by TNT Supercenter in Thomasville, Georgia. And Franklin Spring Creek Ford.
The City of Tallahassee Utilities, America's #1 public utility, says it's summertime, and summertime is the time to go green and save energy. Here are a few simple things you can do right now that will save energy while you try to keep out of the summer heat. First thing, get your air conditioner checked out and change your air filters. You'll be pleasantly surprised at how much energy and money you can save. Going away from home on vacation? Why not purchase a programmable thermostat to regulate your air conditioner while you're not at home? Talk about an investment that'll pay energy savings dividends. Make an appointment right away for a free energy audit from the City of Tallahassee Utilities. You never know how much energy you can save until you do it. The City of Tallahassee is offering insulation grants. Why not apply for one? Did you know that the City of Tallahassee offers loans to help with the purchase of solar water heaters? Visit talgov.com/YOU for information on loans and rebates. So stay cool, go green, and save energy all summer long. A message from the City of Tallahassee Utilities, America's #1 public utility.
Live from the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. Happy Balls McWednesday, friends. By the way, again, for those tuning in wondering about the game, noon Saturday got moved. Also, I don't know if you had a chance to watch last night, Tom. I know you were kind of doing a bunch of different things, but first of all, man, Venus Williams is. I can't believe what's happening with her at this point in her career. It makes no sense, zero sense. She was basically out of the game. And to see her repeatedly she made a finals and lost earlier this year to her sister. But now another semifinals, and at that age, after being basically away from and out of the game, it's really, really good for tennis. I thoroughly enjoy watching her play.
2 fingers to my eyes, 2 fingers back to you, Venus Williams? Is that what you're saying?
No.
It's incredible to see how at this age she made her way back to the sport at this level.
No, but you know what I would always tell you about that is that she struck me as somebody who had a lot more in the way of interests off the court, / burned out and was ready to move on, had made money, had achieved, had won majors, and had succeeded.
Saw that her sister was better.
Well, there's no doubt about that. It's got to be rough when your sister's arguably the greatest of all time.
And you could have been world #1 for another year or two had she not existed and been on the same circuit as you.
Yeah, but I don't know, man. Last night when she won, she credited Serena with, I know you're being facetious, but credited Serena with kind of resurrecting American tennis, women's American tennis, because it's flourishing right now. But I think it's so good to watch. I love it. And the women's game is better than the men's game. And I know that sounds crazy, but you get real, honest-to-goodness rallies, and you can watch the strategy of the game, things I like about the game, court movement, sort of the geometry of it all, and setting shots up, 3 and 4 shots in advance. That doesn't exist as frequently. It does exist, but it doesn't exist as frequently in the men's game because of the power and the equipment. So that's a real joy and somewhat of a throwback. And anyhow, there's also great personalities on the women's side.
Yeah, when I got home, I watched the first of the quarterfinal matches, and the young American woman's name escapes me currently, but I know that there's an opportunity for 4 Americans to make, semifinals, so to be an All-American Final Four. That was a great match because that went to the third set, and the third set nearly went the distance. I believe it was 5-5 in the third. And that's obviously who Venus is going to be playing. But beyond that, no. The only other sports thing I did for the rest of the night was watch Hard Knocks.
It's nuts to watch. I mean, again, you're talking about Venus getting to a U.S. Open semis, her first since 2010. And in tennis years, 7 years is death. That's it. I mean, that's nuts.
It's Sloane Stephens is the one that won the earlier match yesterday.
Yeah. Which is also cool. I for one, I watched this she's her enthusiasm for the game too, and her renewed dedication to the game is infectious. There are athletes that do that for you, where you can tell it's genuine, where you can tell they're having fun, that they've embraced it. Well, Rafa has been that way, and you've seen that time and again. And then, of course, your favorite player of all time, Federer, is very much that way. And that, too, is fair. I mean, those guys talk about a return to form that you didn't see coming, age being what it is in tennis. There was no way to believe that guy could be doing what he's doing. So it's weird. Tennis is entering a really good place right now.
Man, did you see the story earlier in the week when Federer needed a warm-up buddy? And there was a lifelong fan of his, young boy, 10 years old, and he had his leg amputated. I believe it was cancer was the reason, but he had his leg amputated in the course of treatment. And they were hitting ground strokes back and forth on the practice court at Arthur Ashe. Really good stuff. It's shelter of the storm worthy stuff, but that is it was a blast to watch that. And Federer seems to be the real article when it comes to being a gentleman off the court, a good guy off the court. It's hard to tell, and usually the best in the world at what they do are kind of a-holes. But from a presentation standpoint, it appears that he checks all the boxes. It's just a good guy and a great ambassador for the sport.
Well, John McEnroe talked about one of the problems that people have on tour and facing him, the other men looking to unseat him and dominate and usher him into retirement, is that they can't find fuel for the anger needed to unseat a superior player technically, because his personality in the locker room is so gracious and kind that they can't help but like him as they step foot on the court. And so, if you think back, and me with my tennis, if you think back to yesteryear, there were villains. There were guys that were easily disdained and people that you could find not just a thing or two, but a myriad of things or reasons not to want them to win. Whether you're talking about Ilie Nastase years and years ago, or you're talking about John McEnroe, and I dare say even if you're talking about a Bjorn Borg, you could say he was a robot, he was boring. Get the hell out of here with that nonsense. Surely you feel something. Yvonne Lindell was that way. Boris Becker was overly obnoxious and celebratory at the age of 17 and 18 as he came up through Wimbledon. I don't know that there was a lot to hate about Stefan Edberg other than he was boring, as a lot of Swedes are. You could go on and find that there was always something with the guys. Certainly Jimmy Connors was a horse's ass and always really had been. Agassi and others. You could find something not to like about almost all of the great champions. And Federer is kind of one that super nice guy. I suppose Sampras was that way.
Was he? I didn't like him very much.
I think Sampras was probably that way. I don't know. Listen, if you really want to get down to brass tacks, you could get angry. You could find a way to get angry about how spoiled they all are. They're country club kids who primarily grew up rich. If they didn't make it as world-class tennis players, they'd have been all right. So I guess if you want to hold that against them, you could. But just in terms of personality,
Sure. I don't know. They just, at least Federer, he doesn't carry himself as though he was Jordan Spieth or Davis Love III type country club kid.
But I bet he was. I mean, he's
probably in his youth, but he's still, generally speaking, young. I mean, tennis, he's ancient, but, in terms of walking the earth, he's not that old at all.
Oh, sure. No, I'm sure he didn't struggle growing up. I think
he's from Switzerland. He's from Switzerland. I think he's doing just fine.
I think he's had it pretty good.
You ever seen any trash on the street in Switzerland? Everybody who goes there says, I can't believe how clean this country is.
Yeah, no.
They must execute people for littering or something out there.
They're not having that nonsense.
They don't want you in their country, and if you come in their country and you litter, you're dead.
They're not against you entering their country. They just don't. Yeah, you could be dropping wrappers and stuff.
You can visit. You can give them your money, but you get on down the road up out of here, unless you've got some sort of account that you want wired to their banks.
Man, that's good stuff. Hey, at Jay Cameron Show. I remember yesterday when everyone was like, "It's the end of the world. Here comes Irma. Hoard everything. Good times." Well, yeah. Listen, I think that. I think there's plenty of concern, although we're getting better and better news on an hourly basis with this thing turning right, we believe, down the East Coast. Also, John writes at Jay Cameron Show, since we have a lot of hashtag a-holes, I'm getting to them now. Frustrating hearing people that didn't watch the game saying that FSU was crushed by Alabama, not knowing the turnover issue in special teams. No, they weren't crushed. Even if you did watch, even if you didn't watch the game, if you saw 24-7, that's not crushed. So just the score alone suggests they weren't crushed. Now, if you actually watch the game, then you know they damn well were not crushed.
Hashtag a-hole.
Yeah, no. This is Trey writes, can Miami still finish with a winning record after canceling this weekend's game? Oh, good. Football's on the mind,
That's
Trey.
A good question.
Well done.
It's a hell of a question.
How good, bad, somewhere in between is Miami? Well, they did cancel their game against Arkansas State, and if we're being completely callous and not worried about the lives of others and how it's affected by storms, but rather reps of young quarterbacks, that's really good news. No more reps for you. You don't get to get a little head start on us here.
Can we generate like a zone in this radio area for us and the listeners, just you and us talking, where there's no judgment here? Because we all care about the well-being of people. We do.
Yeah.
I'm sure the vast majority of you have contributed to the Harvey relief and what's going on in Houston, the state of Texas, and the Gulf Coast. We have too. And I'm sure that if and when this Cat 4, Cat 5 storm either shears or goes right through South Florida, we're going to do our best to help everyone affected down there too. But can we talk about sports and how the Bucs got screwed and the Dolphins got screwed this week?
I've been meaning to bring that up, and then I also wanted to. I know I said I was going to talk about Bobo and Hard Knocks, so I will. We got a lot of Bucs/Dolphins sort of conversation point, but it's really more about the NFL. Just not having the foresight to recognize that, man, you have ample opportunity to schedule well in advance what your contingency plan is going to be based on this storm. The recognition of this storm took place days ago, and they didn't get around to talking about the issue until really a couple days ago. They had a week.
What was it, the Monday holiday? Because you only play games on Thanksgiving and Christmas and New Year's when it suits you.
I will say this. It was really made quite easy. They could have played tonight, either A, in Miami, B, in Tampa, maybe Orlando. But Carolina, the Falcons, all these teams are on the road.
Yeah.
You're right there. What are we doing?
Certainly they could have played tomorrow. And to me, again, Sunday was always out. Sunday was never an option, and we knew that yesterday in the afternoon. It took them forever to just announce that much, that Sunday was not going to be an option based upon what the weather was going to look like. I mean, you're getting tropical storm winds into Miami on Saturday, so it ain't happening. Understood. But you could have gotten way out in front of this thing and scheduled for Thursday at a neutral site in Tampa, give all the money back to the Dolphins organization. I mean, what was the motivation here? What was the real motivation to be slow-footed about this? Because I have a feeling.
Well, you think it's because of the New England-Kansas City game?
I think they didn't want a game on Thursday. I don't think they wanted another game on Thursday.
Maybe. I mean, it's not a completely illogical leap, but even if that's not the case, they had ample opportunity.
What would you have done if they didn't have a shared bye? Like, what would they have done then? I'll bet you they would have been playing tomorrow night. I'll bet you.
Oh, yes. I'm almost certain of it. And the problem with it is this. Again, recognizing there are more important things than football. Got it. And there is. Most things. You're now going to ask both teams to play 16 consecutive weeks. That's a frankly, it's unfair.
Again, nobody.
Now, you'll live with it. You don't have a choice. I got you, but it's not ideal, and it does create a competitive advantage against those that face those teams later in the year.
I was discussing it out loud with Lee and Steve from Joe Bucks Fan yesterday on the internet, and in thinking about it, the weekend was always out because you have to get back to Miami. You have to get back to Tampa.
No, and there's personnel there. You're talking about police officers and any emergency personnel and the workers in the stadium and all these different things. Sure, yeah, the weekend was always going to be out.
By extension, Friday was out. Even Miami, though they were preparing for Friday,
Thursday or Wednesday.
Those were the days.
Those were the days, yeah.
Son of a.
Hour number 2, forthcoming. Stay with us.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
You put your mower through a lot. All that back and forth can add up to thousands of miles. That's like mowing cross country. Gravely commercial mowers are built for all-day performance, helping you get the job done mile after mile. Gravely, built to mow the distance.
Get your Gravely motor only at TNT Supercenter, your one-stop shop for work or play. 14585 Highway 19 South, Thomasville, Georgia. TNTSupercenter.com.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford. The place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Nissan introducing Nissan's Express Service. Express Service means oil changes in 45 minutes or less with no appointment necessary. Here's how it works. When you come to Kraft Nissan for an oil change, you're greeted by a dedicated Express Service advisor. Sign the advisor's iPad and have a seat in our waiting room. A team of 2 lube technicians will immediately take your car directly to service and complete the oil change. And remember, Kraft Nissan services all makes and models. We sell tires for less. Compare us to the box stores and compare us to the tire stores. We'll beat their price. Plus, new tires come with free rotations for the life of the tires. We also have our Value Advantage line of parts that are priced to compete with aftermarket and parts stores, but still have full Nissan factory warranty. So competitively priced that Kraft Nissan will give you a 30-day price match guarantee in writing. And we offer the Kraft Nissan service card, same as cash for 6 months on purchases over $299.
So give us a try. Oil changes in 45 minutes or less and no appointment necessary. Just stop by.
Kraft Nissan on Mahan Drive between Academy Sports and Costco. Service card with approved credit.
Attention all business owners, it's here. 97.9 ESPN Radio has developed the Triple Play, Tallahassee's most effective advertising campaign. The Triple Play combines radio, TV, and the internet, and it's brought to you only by Tallahassee's #1 sports station.
Hi, I'm Nina Davis, account executive here at 97.9 ESPN Radio. Call me at 561-8400 right now to find out more about our Triple Play advertising campaign so we can grow your business. It's football season, so everyone's listening. Call me, Nina Davis, at 561-8400 to partner your business with Tallahassee's Sports Monster.
You deserve the wedding dress of your dreams. At David's Bridal, find gorgeous new arrivals for every style and budget. Shop select wedding dresses originally $300 to $600 for just $99. And select designer wedding dresses originally $700 to $1,600, now just $499. Plus $20 off bridesmaid dresses. So be bold, be flirty, be sweet. But whatever you do, be your own bride. Only at David's Bridal. Sale starts September 7th.
Gotta be yourself.
Beef O'Brady's 2 for $20. The only hard part is choosing. First, pick a starter to share. Then pick 2 entrees like grilled shrimp and a steak bowl. All for $20. Beef O'Brady's, where 2 for $20 gets you plenty.
Broadcasting live from the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac Studios. This is 97.9 ESPN Radio, WTSM, Woodville, Thomasville, Tallahassee.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Doug Brown. The Dolphins and Buccaneers won't play their scheduled game in Miami until Week 11 on November 19th. That game was postponed from Sunday's schedule by the approach of Hurricane Irma. Ravens quarterback Joe Flacco is ready to play in the season opener Sunday against the Bengals. Flacco missed all of training camp with a back injury. He says it's still not ideal, but he's ready to go. Schedule changes from college football too. The University of Miami cancels Saturday's scheduled game against Arkansas State. That game will not be rescheduled.
Time to upgrade your wardrobe with CT Shirts, the most exquisitely crafted, British-styled, crease-free shirts I've ever worn. One CT shirt normally costs $100. I got you 3 shirts for just $99. Go to ctshirts.com/ESPN. ctshirts.com/ESPN.
Live from the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Number 2, Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. Thanks for tuning to it. A fine Ballsmick Wednesday to you and yours. I'm Jeff. That's Tom. We're online at ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you go to listen live via the streaming free. Always don't miss anything. But, hey, if you do, all 3 hours going to be posted both on iTunes and in our own audio vault. That's a good thing. Email the show if you want, jcs at 979ESPNradio.com. Find me on Twitter at JCameronShow, WTSM app for your mobile devices. And we're on YouTube as well. ESPN Tallahassee. I hope all is well out there. Man, you know, a lot of people want to get gas right now, Tom. They're all racing to get gas. It was crazy. The pumps everywhere. It was annoying as all hell. I thought, my God, folks, it's going to be okay. But I got it. And then today I was riding into work. I saw a pump by itself. I said, hello, pump. Just turned right in, got my gas. No line whatsoever. Beautiful thing.
How you doing, Mr. Cameron?
I'm well, Pump.
I'm very tired from yesterday. I got overworked yesterday, Mr. Cameron. But I'm well rested now. Go right ahead.
Yes, and I did. I felt good about it. I found this lonely pump.
Is this a debit or a credit card? And then you put it in and it says, is this a debit or a credit card?
Yes, that's the way it works.
Nothing drives me more nuts.
That makes you angry?
There's 2 buttons, debit outside, credit outside. I hit the right one, and then I put in the credit card and it says, is this a debit card? No, it's not a debit card. You know why? Because I've already hit credit outside, my man.
You know what else? My man? In addition to all of that, they always need to know about that rewards.
Oh, boy.
With the rewards again and again and again, I've said, no, I don't need the rewards.
Understood, you don't. Okay, it's time to. Would you like a car wash?
All right. Florida State and Louisiana Monroe still playing on Saturday. As of right now, noon. So are you happy about that or not? A lot of people complaining, not cold-heartedly. They get the reasons for it, but merely as a time. You know what's changed in my life with age? The acceptance of noon games as being a good thing, and this weekend being a big-time yes to a noon game. Man, you guys have seen the slate at 7, right? No, sir, did I care to be at Doak Campbell Stadium. Got to admit it, at 7 o'clock with all of the other good games that you could be watching. I am a college football fan. Now, admittedly, this has kind of been altered in that watching James Blackman play the game and going to the home opener to watch him do so and to kind of see the atmosphere there. I don't know what the atmosphere is going to be like now. I don't know how many people are traveling to this game. Probably not many. But I felt like the fan base would rally around this team because of an injury to the quarterback first game of the season and because it's a freshman that has to replace him. You know, we go back a ways to where I created the chant Sean Maguire needs our help. And James Blackman may need our help. You know, I don't want to double dip into that well, but James Blackman may need our help. Sean Maguire needed our help. But I do think that kind of speaks to a larger mindset that will exist this season, both on and off the field. I think fans, I've said this before, I'll bring it up again. I think there will be an infusion of passion. I think you will see fans try to will this team, if you will, to more success, because nobody likes to see a player, especially as tough a player and a dedicated player as DeAndre Francois was, go down due to injury. You almost feel like the test becomes a little unfair, that the bad break that befalls this unit, this offense, this team, is above and beyond what's reasonable. You can lose a player, but you can't lose your starting quarterback the first game of the year. So fans will be locked in, but I also believe this defense will know they have to carry the day. I know that this offensive line, which looked a lot better in the first game of the season against Alabama than they did a year ago, will feel a responsibility, a heightened responsibility. And I think just it naturally kind of carries over person to person, coach to coach, fan to fan. So the experience at Doak this year, this game excluded because of the situation, I think is going to be a better one. I know it seems odd to say. I just believe that that's true. I think people will pull their weight more across the board, thinking that they have to do that, or they owe it to their school, they owe it to this team, they owe it to that young man who's forced into a situation that, frankly, he certainly couldn't have expected and that nobody wanted.
Granted, it's not the same reason, but 2014's home game against Clemson, where Sean Maguire plays the entire game, yeah, there was an extra little something in the air.
Oh, man, it was amazing.
Every time he completed a pass, when he hit the one to Rashad, he goes down the sidelines. I mean, hell, think about the Oklahoma game. EJ goes down.
You just made me smile thinking about the pass to Rashad, because it's still one of my favorite tweets of all time.
Buddy, yeah.
He's out there listening right now. I know he is.
The Sean pass, yeah. Yeah. But then there's the
sling that pigskin.
There's the Clint Trickett pass that somehow makes its way through a couple layers of defenders. It's almost akin to the Ermont Lane catch at Louisville.
That's right. Yeah.
Like, how did that ball get where,
What a throw!
Right, and then Rashad's up the sidelines. He's in the end zone, but there's an extra, some kind of, I don't know what, defiance. I don't know what it comes from, but there's a little bit extra from the fans, and certainly,
It does. You reach down deep, man.
Assuming the Miami game is A-OK and that university's all right to prepare for the week and come up here and play this game and lose their 8th straight in the rivalry, then there's going to be a little extra in the crowd for James Blackman. This week, I would agree with you from a layout standpoint. Clemson-Auburn does pique my interest. I would like to see Oklahoma and Ohio State. Notre Dame and Georgia is weird and awesome, and it's going to take place in South Bend. Sounds good to me. Stanford-USC, that's a pretty good option. So sure, if those primetime games are open and I can watch all of them, say, on, I don't know, something like a Vegas wall at the Corner Pocket Bar Grill.
Huh?
Well, that's what I'm going to do, because we'll be in arrears, buddy. We'll be all set with a 1-1 team record through 2 weeks, and we'll be looking forward to Miami and talking about the big Miami game while we're watching the prime time slate.
And they get no extra reps either. They canceled their game, and that's a damn shame for all involved. But it is beneficial that that young man playing quarterback, breaking in for Miami, is not getting extra reps this weekend before making his way to Tallahassee next weekend for an 8 o'clock kickoff, which, again, is going to be electrifying. Absolutely it is. That'll be a fun game.
What are you looking more forward to? Let's put it this way. The Buccaneers season with a fully loaded offense now, and the ability to, even though they're playing in 16
close
weeks.
to a fully loaded offense, that running back situation's shaky.
Martin will be back in week 5 now, game 4.
All right.
And I think it'll be okay. And the expectations of that season and what could be a playoff run, or what Florida State brings to the table with James Blackman and a lot of other pieces to the puzzle, but certainly expectations that have to be lowered in the wake of DeAndre Francois' injury.
Most excited I've been for an NFL season in a very, very long time because of the Bucs winning season a year ago, and certainly Jameis Winston figures prominently in this enthusiasm. But it's always college. I'm always going to fall back to Florida State. But the other thing is, this year, even let's say they were equal. Let's say my passion for the two were equal somehow. It would still be Florida State, because I really love to see improbable stories kind of as they emerge, and really, I feel like I talked to a lot of people in the last 48 hours, some connected with the university, some connected to the athletic program, and many others that were just graduates and diehards calling me to get the latest on Florida State, their school. What's going to happen? Is it a lost season, Jeff? What's going to occur? We get hundreds of emails, and people have tweeted, oh, man, I know you're trying to put a positive spin on it. And I've efforted to explain to them that I'm not saying this because it makes me feel better or I think it's what you want to hear. I'm not saying that I'm not giving up on the season because I believe that it's good for radio and it's a take to have at a time where many people are crestfallen. No. First of all, I don't do that. Secondly, because to do that, I would have said all the things that people wanted me to say before the Alabama game, but we don't do that. I really do think there's enough here for Florida State to surprise people and to have a much better year than you could have ever predicted if I were to tell you your starting quarterback was going to go down for the year in game one. That defense showed me an awful lot on Saturday night. Above and beyond the physical tools to compete at the highest level and be an elite defense, they had the mentality necessary to execute and play to that ability, right? They didn't get down at a time that it would have been understandable and very easy to get down. Your offense is turning the ball over. Special teams is killing you. Alabama, as elite as they are in your backfield, inside your 20, inside your 10, inside your 30, time and again. And yet you hold up strong. You bow up and you force them to field goal attempts. You force them to be able to execute on third down and have to make plays as opposed to just giving into the moment and the temptation to say it's not our night. These are things that they didn't always do a year ago, and it made me dislike the team to a degree. That defense, that coaching staff pissed me off. Well, you got promissory notes being handed out. I don't like you. This isn't that team. They showed something so much more than that. So immediately they're eminently likable. And they're an underdog now, which everybody loves an underdog. Now they're as much as Florida State University or other prominent Power 5 schools can be an underdog, they are. They've just lost their starting quarterback and have to truly turn to a true freshman who's never started a college football game, who wasn't an early enrollee, who's been here just a number of weeks. That's it. So the odds are stacked against them having a good season, and yet I believe it's possible. I believe that's genuinely true. And I think it's more satisfying when you're an underdog. It's more satisfying when you watch a story play out that, A, pisses off your rivals, angers and frustrates those that would love to see you lose on a weekly basis, but B, kind of sheds light on Florida State football and what it means and what Jimbo's established. Because make no mistake about it, he's not a perfect head coach. He's made mistakes. I could sit here and cite him. I could talk about the things that still bother me. I'm still bothered that we were capable of playing that poorly on special teams to begin with. But that's not what I'm doing here. I think the larger point is that there's enough in play that will allow them to succeed because of what he's established in his time here as head coach and the right way of doing things. And a year ago, I would have told you that wasn't the case when we gave up 63 points to Louisville. A year ago, I would have said, what is going on here that's possible? And now I think it's the thing that is in place that's going to allow this team to win 9-10 games, despite having lost DeAndre Francois in week one. And watching that play out is rewarding in a way that's greater than watching NFL football where you're rooting for your jersey in your city.
Just slap around that NFL franchise.
I love the Bucs.
Your corner Buccaneers.
I love the Bucs. I love football, and I'm going to watch the NFL, but the NFL is very corporate. We know what it is. That's fine. You're rooting for laundry. Guys, move on. It's your university. This is and these are kids. It's an 18-year-old kid, man. You know his eyes wide. Big as saucers when he takes that field Saturday afternoon. I can only imagine the nerves he feels. He may not be showing it outwardly, but I'm sure inside. I mean, I don't know how well he'll sleep this week. How could you? How could you? You were just a few months ago going to prom. It's crazy.
At least it's ULM. It's a good game to start with.
Oh, it's a great game to start with. Yeah, no, unless you just absolutely fall to pieces, there's just no way you can lose it. So, yes, that's nice knowing you take the field where expectations are quite limited on what you have to do, and certainly the other team cannot pounce on opportunities you provide them by your inexperience. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
You can tell a lot about a tractor by its warranty. That's why Mahindra makes the toughest tractors on earth. With steel, not plastic. Backed by the industry's best limited powertrain warranty, period. Not 5 years, not 6 years, but a full 7 years on select models. No wonder the other guys are green with envy.
No money down, 0% interest, and no payments until July. Available at TNT Supercenter.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough, I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Yamaha Star EV and the ultimate hunting vehicle to beat. TNT Supercenter has the largest selection of carts in the area. Pre-owned carts starting at just $19.99. New carts with a 4-year warranty starting at just $49.99. And at TNT, our service center and service technicians are trained, certified, and authorized for every brand we sell.
And there's plenty of parts and accessories too, right?
Our parts inventory is huge, and we'll dress up your existing cart with a full line of Mad Jack's premium accessory products like seat kits, light kits, lift kits, and now for a limited time, save 20% on all of Mad Jack's parts and accessories.
TNT Supercenter, US 19 South, next to Dairy Queen in Thomasville, and online at TNTSupercenter.com.
Do you want the cleanest used car, truck, or SUV at the lowest price? FranksAutoWorld.com. How has Frank's Auto World become Tallahassee's fastest growing used car dealer? Simple. Frank carries up to 70 of the cleanest used cars, trucks, and SUVs, then prices them on the internet lower than the competition. Think I'm kidding? Type in FranksAutoWorld.com on your smartphone, iPad, or desktop. Get multiple pictures and even a free Carfax of each vehicle and a rating by Car Gurus showing you the price is a good deal. FranksAutoWorld.com.
Hello there. I'm the luckiest guy in the world. I've got 22 houses, 3 golf courses, and 4 boats big enough to be houses. Government's shut down if I forget to pay my taxes. Hey, we're broke. My 2 cents are worth millions. My checkbook is the most wished-for item on Amazon.
I want it!
When I tip at restaurants, the waitstaff retires.
Yeah!
But how did I do it all? That's my little secret.
Courier service, here's your big fat check from MyBookie.ag.
I'm kind of doing a thing here.
Stop pretending it's a secret. Anyone can win on MyBookie.ag. With 50% cash bonuses, great odds, and fast payouts, MyBookie.ag is a no-brainer.
Listen, kid, how much will it cost for you to be quiet?
How much you got?
Try your luck today at MyBookie.ag and use promo code RADIO.
Hi, Chris Kraft for Kraft Nissan. Once again, all of you with stellar credit ratings, congratulations. And this message is not for you. All year I've been talking about our New For You program to assist good people with things in their credit. And just last week, a friend of mine came into my office worried about his own credit rating. But thanks to our New For You program, you guessed it, he drove away in a brand new Nissan Altima. We are proud of the fact that we have helped hundreds of people that were previously limited shopping little used car lots where they overpaid, got huge finance charges, and had very few choices on cars to purchase. Some of those lots may actually hurt your credit more than they could ever help. So remember, credit score under 600? Come on in. Recent bankruptcy? Come on in. Recently divorced? Come on in. Think you have a financial problem we've never heard of? Come on in to Kraft Nissan. And come see the one dealer in Tallahassee that can really help you out. Come see the cars that everyone wants at the hottest dealer in town, Kraft Nissan. And remember, if you don't see the Kraft tag on your car, you paid too much, way too much. Kraft Nissan on Mahan Drive between Academy Sports and Costco, or visit us on the web at craftnissan.com.
You're listening to The Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. Busy. Trying to get some gambling in here, Tom. And we're coming out of commercial break. I kid, sort of.
Oh, what, baseball or?
No, a little football action.
Baseball?
Baseball. Little football action, man. I got some things going over here. I got off to a good start, including against you. Tomorrow's Redemption Thursday, but boy, that Maryland pick of mine turned out.
That worked. That worked.
Was all right, huh?
It ended up being, I think for the show. Now that was for the Man Cave. You obliterated me there, and then for Redemption Thursday as well.
Yeah.
Boy, that was bad to watch.
It's a toughie.
But I believe our Lone Star was West Virginia, Virginia Tech.
It was a 3-point game, right?
Yeah.
All right. So I lose the Lone Star? Did I lose the Lone Star?
I think that's right. Did you take West Virginia or no?
I don't remember.
Okay.
No, I in our Lone Star wager?
I think we did.
I don't know that we would have made that the Lone Star.
Well, I was heavily on Virginia Tech. I know that much.
I'm saying
I thought you agreed to that. Now, I could be wrong.
You might be right. Maybe I wasn't paying close enough attention to the Lone Star. I thought it was Maryland, Texas myself. Because I remember thinking I tried to swindle you to 19.5.
Unfortunately, we couldn't get that Michigan-Florida bet finalized, even though we made it 3 weeks ago.
Well, now, come on.
Callaway wouldn't have helped.
I think he would have. Moreover, the other 10 freaking players, once the count got to 10, I left it alone. Boy, what a long year Florida's in for, huh?
How many quarters would they have had to play against Michigan before they scored a touchdown? I'm not kidding you. I'm not kidding.
I don't think Michigan's very good either, by the way. I don't.
Really?
No. I think,
They're flawed offensively. They fly to the ball on defense, though.
Well, of course they do. They've recruited well, and then that side of the football is going to be good at Michigan moving forward for years and years to come. But offensively, they're very flawed.
Boy, Spade is an extension of his head coach, is he not? They score their first touchdown. He waves off the special team saying, let's go for 2. Then he proceeds to throw 2 pick sixes. What are you going to do, wave off the special teams from Florida when they return 2 to the house on you, Wilton?
I said Wilton wasn't any good before that game, and it was one of the reasons that I thought an undermanned Florida team would hang in there, which they did, just because Spade's not going to make anybody pay.
Hang in there. I don't know about that.
Oh, come on, man.
By the middle of the third quarter, this game was decided and then some, and it was only a game in the middle of the third quarter because Wilton over there was playing Chris Ricks.
And I discussed how Wilton sucks and would give other teams an opportunity to be in games they ought not be in. He's terrible.
That's fair, but you're not thinking he's going to give up 2 pick sixes. There's a difference between missing open receivers.
But if I tell you that a player sucks, I think that he can't take advantage of opportunities, then in essence, that's what I mean. No, I don't predict he's going to throw 2 pick sixes. But I am going to tell you that he'll let a team hang around because he can't play.
But he had to throw 2 pick sixes in order for it to even be a thought
it's
to be a game.
It's the kind of thing that loser will do.
But it still wasn't even a game in the second half, even with that.
What I'm telling you, we didn't make the bet because Florida lost half their team. What I'm saying is, now look, that Florida team's not any good either. But their schedule is such that they could accidentally win 8 games.
Not if they keep going with the carousel here with Zaire for half a game.
That's the other thing. That's the other thing. If I'm a Florida fan, I'm not just mad that we haven't been able to recruit a quarterback and going on a quarter century. I'm mad because my coach kind of looks like he doesn't know what he's doing. Kind of looks a little bit like he doesn't know what he's doing.
I didn't think Franks was warranted to be pulled out of that game.
Well, moreover, he's going to make mistakes because he's not elite. But you don't have other options. That's your guy. It sure as hell ain't Del Rio, and it's not what's-his-face from Notre Dame.
Yeah, Zaire. Who looked worse.
It's not going to be him. He's not your future anyhow. By definition, he can't be. That's your future. Play him. Play him. He's going to make mistakes. Let him get through it this year. Maybe you got a shot by season's end to see if he can play at all, and then, you move forward. The indecisiveness and the things that they've done off the field, too, coupled with they should have never told Will Grier to have a good day. Again, how dedicated is my coach?
Yeah, that would be a different conversation about where Florida football is, right? If he was still their quarterback.
Well, they were getting it going with him.
Yeah.
You remember that. I mean, maybe I would have a different opinion of Mac at this point, but, man, way too quick to tell somebody to have a good day there. Again, I said it on headlines the other day. Will Grier could have walked into my office, snorted a line of Coke on my desk. Knowing what I had behind him or didn't have, I would have said, now we frown upon that, Will. No, that's not, we need to get you some help, perhaps.
So you're saying you let him show up late for a team meeting or some such thing?
Yeah. I mean, given the circumstances, you can say that I am just not as dedicated as I need to be in building young men. But I believe in second and third opportunities, especially for some players. And I think at that point I would have assessed that situation as a situation of need for both of us. He needs my help and I need his.
So say if it was 2009 and Christian was never this way, but Christian Ponder was, fond of not doing as he was supposed to do and tasked to do as the
I don't know that
quarterback. No, those were key years for Jimbo to make sure the offense
early on. Yeah, that's true.
The way it was supposed to run. I get it. He was hurt a couple games in 2010, 3 or 4 games, really. But you needed him to run that offense, play in and play out. So, if he needed the extra leeway, you would give it to a player like that who's important at a seminal time in your program's history.
I'd get him the help he needs, Tom.
That's right.
That's right. I'd get him the help he needs. That's how I'd build that young man into a man. I would tell him, here's what's going to happen. Obviously, you just came in here and snorted a lot of cocaine off my desk. That would suggest to me you have real problems. The warped mind that would think that's a good idea is a drug-addled. It's a drug-addled mind, Will. We will get you help. I'll see you at practice this afternoon at 4.
You didn't make the proverbial grades? I'll make the proverbial call to the proverbial highest power. That's what I'm proverbially going to do for you, young man.
I mean, anyhow, that's going to be a long year for them. There's just no doubt that it's a tough go. It's a tough go. But I'm still saying 8 wins. I'm still giving them 8 wins.
You really look at that schedule and say it's garbage.
Well, I think it is garbage.
Does South Carolina give you a little bit more pause?
No. NC State was dominant in that game against South Carolina. Dominant.
I know,
but
they're
screwed
playing
up situations.
But they're not playing NC State. South Carolina's playing Florida.
No, but I understand, but I don't think NC State's very good either. I know a lot of people do. I don't. I think NC State is talented along the defensive line. I think they're poorly coached. We bring this up all the time. People are like, well, NC State has a very good defense, and if you watch that game, you know that they dominated the game and they lost situations. They always lose situations. Doran sucks. They always lose situations. Always.
However, in an alternate universe, just to argue for Doran for a moment, it's not Doran who dropped a pick in the end zone when DeAndre put it between somebody's numbers last year.
That is true.
And it's not Doran who missed a field goal from chip shot range to beat Clemson last year on the road.
No, that's true too. But boy, it just always happens while Doran's there, doesn't it? It just always does.
They're snake bit and unlucky, and there's a fine line too.
Let's go back through all their close losses. There are a lot of them to choose from, Tom.
I know, but those are 2 big ones.
Let's go through all of them. I mean, we've got a bevy of losses to choose from, in which we can decide that this play or that play wasn't Doran's fault. There's a multitude of games to choose from in his time there in which we can decide whether they are truly snake-bit or poorly coached. Or both, because it can be both, and I think for him and them it is both. That's why the fans of NC State frequently pee on one another. It's the Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Blountstown Highway, 574-4100.
You put your mower through a lot. All that back and forth can add up to thousands of miles. That's like mowing cross country. Gravely commercial mowers are built for all-day performance, helping you get the job done mile after mile. Gravely, built to mow the distance.
Get your Gravely motor only at TNT Supercenter, your one-stop shop for work or play. 14585 Highway 19 South, Thomasville, Georgia. TNTSupercenter.com.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin, Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
At Gretna, I-10, exit 174, Gretna, Florida.
At Whole Foods Market, we believe in real food. Food that's full of nutrients. Naturally vivid and colorful, fresh and delicious. Food that connects you to your body, to the seasons, and to the natural world. We believe food should nourish you and help you think. It should help you feel calm, clear-headed, and strong. It should help you do more, sleep better, and wake up happier. That's food that lives up to its name. We believe in real food. Whole Foods Market.
Welcome to Wells Fargo. How can I help you?
Well, every day I get a latte from across the street, and trust me, it's best for everyone that I come to work caffeinated. Only today, I forgot my wallet.
Don't worry. We have a new way you can get money out of the ATM. Just use your phone.
My phone?
Just open your Wells Fargo app and request a one-time access code.
Oh, that's better.
Enjoy the latte.
You have done a great service for the people in my office.
No problem.
Wells Fargo is building better every day with new ways to access your accounts. Wells Fargo Bank N.A., member FDIC.
Look at that mouth. That poor, parched mouth. So dry. What'd you eat for lunch? Chalk dust? Did your mouth cannonball into a barrel of mothballs? You're being awfully quiet. Is that because your mouth feels like the business end of a Dremel saw? Is it because your mouth just wrote a haiku and all 17 syllables were dry heaves? You're so parched. You know it. I know it. The entire radio knows it. Just admit it. You want a Mountain Dew. Your mouth feels like it just inhaled the insides of a punching bag, and the only remedy is that neon green potion. Right now, your mouth could be tongue bathing in the refreshing citrus kick of Mountain Dew. Instead, it feels like you've been motorboating King Tut's sarcophagus. Show some mercy. Crack open an ice cold Mountain Dew. You know your mouth wants you to. Do the Dew.
Nothing quite beats authentic Italian food and a Pepsi. Indulge your taste buds and experience all the flavor of Italy right here in Tallahassee. Visit Urban Food Market today, located in the center of Tallahassee. Urban Food Market, proud to serve Pepsi.
Attention all business owners, it's here. 97.9 ESPN Radio has developed the Triple Play, Tallahassee's most effective advertising campaign. The Triple Play combines radio, TV, and the internet, and it's brought to you only by Tallahassee's #1 sports station.
Hi, I'm Travis Kelly, account executive here at 97.9 ESPN Radio. Call me at 561-8400 right now to find out more about the Triple Play advertising campaign and begin growing your business. It's football season. Everybody's listening. Call me, Travis Kelly, at 561-8400 to partner your business with Tallahassee Sports Monster.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Doug Brown. The Dolphins and Buccaneers won't play their scheduled game in Miami until Week 11 on November 19th. That game was postponed from Sunday's schedule by the approach of Hurricane Irma. Ravens quarterback Joe Flacco is ready to play in the season opener Sunday against the Bengals. Flacco missed all of training camp with a back injury. He says it's still not ideal, but he's ready to go. Schedule changes from college football to the University of Miami cancels Saturday's scheduled game against Arkansas State. That game will not be rescheduled.
Time to upgrade your wardrobe with CT Shirts, the most exquisitely crafted British-styled crease-free shirts I've ever worn. One CT shirt normally costs $100. I got you 3 shirts for just $99. Go to ctshirts.com/ESPN. ctshirts.com/ESPN.
Live from the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
It's the final half an hour of a workday. That's right. So this is the perfect time, my friend, for a little Beer 30 action presented by our fine friends at the 7th Hill Tap Room on Appalachia Parkway.
Can 'em up, pour 'em out.
I'll just have a cup of coffee.
There it is. It's Beer 30, brought to you by the 7th Hill Tap Room on Appalachia Parkway.
Tonight is State Worker Wednesday, where happy hour specials run all night for state workers. All teachers are included in the promotion. That's a good thing. Teachers need to drink.
Well, they might have a couple of days off in the southern
Well, I'm
part
not.
of the
I'm
state,
not
but,
saying that they need to drink like it's part of a lifestyle shift. It's just that it's very difficult to be a teacher.
Man, there was one teacher I had in high school who you'd get either papers back or your test back graded.
And there's like wine spilled on it?
Wine or beer, yeah.
That's fantastic.
And you could smell it, and you're like, whoop, there.
Like, that's my man.
I guess they were having a cold one while they're...
Nicely done, wouldn't you?
Listen, well, they didn't have to put any red on my paper. You know, it was just all correct.
It's others that you smelled the beer and wine from.
Don't forget to get your $10 Seventh Hill Cup Club cup. And if you need a reminder as to what the happy hour of the specials are each day, buy two excuse me.
Oh, man.
You gave me a look when I was talking.
Oh, I was impressed with the ability with the...
Is that what the eyebrows popping up was?
Yeah,
man, I thought you were looking at me like I said something wrong.
You're like, you're like Bobo Wilson blaming others.
Oh, I showed up here. Was I not on time for the show today? Buy 2 drafts, get the 3rd draft free. Buy 1 delicious 32-ounce Crowler, get the second half off, and $5 bonus cash on self-service tap cards for every $10 you spend. That's from 4 to 7 p.m. every day.
UCLA is given 23.5 to Hawaii. Any chance of a letdown there? You think that 23.5 is a good number for Hawaii? I don't like it.
No, I wouldn't touch it.
I'm kind of going through some of these here.
You're crunching the numbers.
I am. I'm crunching the numbers here, just getting a good... You know what? If I could go to a game this weekend, it would be Oklahoma and Ohio State. But if I wasn't at that game, it wouldn't be Stanford and Southern Cal, which is another great game. And it wouldn't be some of the others that everybody is excited about. I would go support our man Adazio in a war between Wake and BC. My goodness, can you imagine the tension in the air? Both clubs understanding that it could be a vital game, victory, if you will, or devastating defeat in their opportunity to make a bowl game.
Man, you'd be one of 4,000 people there, but you would get your money's worth, wouldn't you?
I would, man. You can't really tailgate all that much there. Having been there numerous times, they're not down with the tailgating, but I'd like that game. I'd like to be at that game. You know, by the way, the other ACC club that we enjoy supporting, we even have a song for it, Tom, a little Here Comes Virginia. Facing off, getting 3 at home will hurt your feelings, but they are against Indiana. Woo! Ooh, what do we got going on here? A little wahoo.
Now
Indiana.
They're at home. That's correct.
They are at home.
All right. Well, Indiana's got to make the road trip, even though they get a couple more days to prepare. It was not a fun loss to Ohio State because they had delusions, not visions,
Very
but delusions
briefly, yes.
of grandeur for about 3 quarters. I mean, they're up with 4 minutes to go in the third quarter. So can they pick themselves up off the mat?
Game had kind of shifted at that point.
In time to see the blinding beauty of Charlottesville? Can they do that and then handle their business and take care of the Cavaliers?
I may take that plus 180 money line on the Auburn-Clemson game. I think Auburn may win that game outright. It's
plus 180, is it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a little little money line there. I'm just saying.
This is how you get over the hump into football on Thursday.
That's what you do, right? You got a little Georgia-Notre Dame action this weekend, but...
What's the number there? Georgia by 6?
No, Georgia getting points. Their quarterback got hurt, so Eason.
Yeah, the backup looked fine.
Yeah, no, I know, and I don't believe in Notre Dame either. Notre Dame's favorite, so I know you're going to be taking Georgia.
Ooh,
We've got a guy. You can make a call.
I'm going to.
Yeah,
I'm interested in that one.
Well, you better do it now before the number changes.
Backup looked fine.
Yeah. Our thanks to Proof Brewing Company for coming on board to sponsor What's on Tap. Proof Brewing Company is a good one.
That they are.
They don't mind? You don't think?
No, I don't think they mind because you can find Proof Brewing Company products where?
At the Seventh Hill Tap Room, right underneath Corner Pocket Bar and Grill, where you can always find the newest and freshest Florida craft beer.
Like from Proof Brewing Company.
My bad. But that was seamless.
It really was.
It really would have
been. Seamless Joe Jackson over there.
It really worked out well. Hey, so don't ever do this to me as a producer and oftentimes co-host. But here's what you don't do. You don't do what allegedly Craig Carton has done from Boomer and Carton. This is weird. This is, we don't often get to do this, but here's our opportunity, right? We get to talk about the industry. Craig Carton co-hosts a show. I guess it's popular on WFAN. I don't say that to besmirch a show that that I don't like or don't know. I've never ever heard this show. So I'm not saying it's not popular. I'm sure it is in New York. I've been flipping channels before and seeing this guy's bald head because I'm bald and I notice when other people are bald and I'll go, oh, he's bald like me. But then I keep flipping because I can't stand Boomer Esiason. So it's never been about this Craig Carton character. I didn't even know who he was. It's more about Boomer, who I can't know. I got no time.
So you're not watching the old days, the CBS pregame show?
No. I loathed him as a player. You don't remember him as a player? I do. Yeah.
He was one of my early favorites because he was the Jets quarterback. You know?
Prior to that, he was the Bengals quarterback. Yeah. Where he became a star was with the Bengals. I hated him. Anyhow, that said, I'm sure he's a nice guy.
I like those old helmets with the Jet on there. I know the triple stripe is a much better look.
Oh, yeah, it's a good look.
I like the mint green Jets look. That was pretty cool.
I like the new one.
You did not. You did not like it.
The newer look.
The forest green triple stripe.
Yeah, it's a good look.
Hasn't done them any good at all.
The Jets have just been perennially bad anyhow, so it doesn't really matter what they do. They could wear, rainbow stripes. I don't think it makes a difference. Craig Carton, co-host of the popular WFAN sports talk radio show Boomer and Carlton, was arrested today, charged with multiple counts of wire and securities fraud for allegedly running a Ponzi scheme in which they use tickets to make millions and defraud investors. He's 48, was arrested early Wednesday morning along with 41-year-old co-conspirator Michael Wright, according to a joint statement from the FBI and Manhattan U.S. Attorney. You don't see sports talk show hosts running Ponzi schemes all that often, I don't think. The men allegedly ran an elaborate ticket scam by creating fake companies to negotiate the resale of entertainment tickets. They then allegedly used investors' funds to pay off personal debts. According to the criminal complaint, here's where the story gets interesting, and believe me, I tie it to this show. Carton and Wright allegedly began the scheme in 2016, so just a year ago, after Carton accrued millions of dollars worth of gambling debts in New York City. He owes the wrong people a large sum of money.
Mm-hmm. Rick Pitino's friends.
My goodness gracious. Both men have been charged with one count of conspiracy to commit securities fraud and wire fraud, one count of wire fraud, and one count of securities fraud. If found guilty, they could face 20 or more years in prison, millions of dollars in fines on a single count of securities fraud alone. For the last decade, Carton has hosted the morning sports talk radio show with former NFL quarterback Boomer Esiason. In 2014, the show was picked up by CBS Sports. Fans of the radio show have grown accustomed to hearing Carton's voice. Kicking off the show, were likely surprised Wednesday when Esiason began the show. Quote, "If you're hearing me starting the show, that means Numbnuts is under the weather, and he's not here." In between discussing highlights from last night's Yankees game, another reason I don't listen to the show, Esiason joked about Carton's absence. But later in the show, clearly shaken up, Esiason broke the news. "I'm aware now why Craig is not here this morning. Fortunately, he was arrested. I'm taken aback and surprised, just like everybody else." FBI Assistant Director in Charge William Sweeney Jr. said Carton and Wright's alleged scheme was destined for failure. Carton and Wright thought they could get off easy by allegedly paying off their debts with other people's money. In time, they will come to find out their luck has run out. Unfortunately, those arrested today, that time is now. So, my man, as a sports talk show host, accrued millions of dollars. What were they paying him at CBS? Do we need to move markets?
I don't know, but
I've been caught unawares. If you accrue millions of dollars in debt, that means you're betting large sums of money, which means you likely have at some point proven that you have large sums of money, which, again, he's in New York. I got it. He's going to make more than me, but damn, man, he's still a...
I get sports talk radio didn't really exist in the 50s and 60s, but this sounds like such a 1950s New York thing. It's like the local guy who talks sports is in debt to the mob.
Yeah.
To the tune of millions of dollars.
And they make him take on this responsibility,
Yes.
this role. Yeah, I would think that that's almost how it had to have happened, right? This is what you're going to do.
You're going to talk about how the Jets should win this football game all week, and that you are certain that they're going to win this football game.
You would have to, right? I mean, there's no way I think you could continue to be in debt to the tune of millions to the – and again, I don't know if it's the mob, but it's the mob. There's no way that man accrued $1 million, $2 million, $3 million worth of debt as a co-host at a sport. You know, Esiason's making the bulk of the money over there. What in the world?
I just envision they have a guest. You know, he's a random New Yorker guest guy. He comes into the studio, and in the middle of the interview, that's where he says, Joey says hi, bam, like on CBS Sports Network for the world to see.
That's what was going to happen until he got popped today. The feds were like, we better get him now. Let's bring him in. Let's bring him in, or else there's going to be a bloodbath on the tube.
Yeah, the chatter on the wire is last time Uncle Joey was driving down the road and listening to Boomer and Carton.
Yeah, he lost a wager over the weekend, and that was the final straw. That was it.
I bet you enjoy Carton today. This is the last day you'll hear him on these airwaves.
Oklahoma and Ohio State. Give me the Sooners plus 7.5. Speaking of gambling, hey now.
Really?
Tomorrow's Redemption Thursday. We'll get there. We'll do all of that, buddy. It's the hook. It's always the hook. Win total adjustments for Florida State. I want to get to that one tomorrow.
The hook. Isn't that what got Hugh Freeze?
Hugh, repeated phone calls. Hugh, here are your phone records, buddy. Now, listen, we aren't after anything personal, so make sure you redact anything that could expose friends, family, anything else you don't want us to see. Still, the most amazing thing about the start of the college football season is that dumbass and his attorney somehow didn't find that number and go, ooh, let's start right there, Steve.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
You can tell a lot about a tractor by its warranty. That's why Mahindra makes the toughest tractors on earth. With steel, not plastic. Backed by the industry's best limited powertrain warranty, period. Not 5 years, not 6 years, but a full 7 years on select models. No wonder the other guys are green with envy.
No money down, 0% interest, and no payments until July. Available at TNT Supercenter.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Service technicians are trained, certified, and authorized for every brand we sell.
And there's plenty of parts and accessories too, right?
Our parts inventory is huge, and we'll dress up your existing car with a full line of Mad Jack's premium accessory products like seat kits, light kits, lift kits, and now for a limited time, save 20% on all of Mad Jack's parts and accessories.
TNT Supercenter, US 19 South, next to Dairy Queen in Thomasville, and online at TNTSupercenter.com.
Hi, Chris Kraft for Kraft Nissan. Once again, all of you with stellar credit ratings, congratulations. And this message is not for you. All year I've been talking about our New For You program to assist good people with dings in their credit. And just last week, a friend of mine came into my office worried about his own credit rating. But thanks to our New For You program, you guessed it, he drove away in a brand new Nissan Altima. We are proud of the fact that we have helped hundreds of people that were previously limited shopping little used car lots where they overpaid, got huge finance charges, and had very few choices on cars to purchase. Some of those lots may actually hurt your credit more than they could ever help. So remember, credit score under 600? Come on in. Recent bankruptcy? Come on in. Recently divorced? Come on in. Think you have a financial problem we've never heard of? Come on in to Kraft Nissan. And come see the one dealer in Tallahassee that can really help you out. Come see the cars that everyone wants at the hottest dealer in town, Kraft Nissan. And remember, if you don't see the Kraft tag on your car, you paid too much, way too much. Kraft Nissan on Mahan Drive between Academy Sports and Costco, or visit us on the web at craftnissan.com.
Hello there. I'm the luckiest guy in the world. I've got 22 houses, 3 golf courses, and 4 boats big enough to be houses. Government's shut down if I forget to pay my taxes. Hey, we're broke. My 2 cents are worth millions. My checkbook is the most wished for item on Amazon.
I want it!
When I tip at restaurants, the waitstaff retires.
Yeah!
But how did I do it all? That's my little secret.
Courier service, here's your big fat check from mybookie.ag.
I'm kind of doing a thing here.
Stop pretending it's a secret. Anyone can win on mybookie.ag. With 50% cash bonuses, great odds, and fast payouts, mybookie.ag is a no-brainer.
Listen, kid, how much will it cost for you to be quiet?
How much you got?
Try your luck today at mybookie.ag and use promo code RADIO.
Beef O'Brady's Burgers across America with Des Moines Triple Bacon, Green Bay's 5-Cheeser, or the Memphis Love Me Tender. All made with premium blend Angus. Pick any two for just $17. Beefs, but your Angus, it's good.
Football season is in full swing, and so is AAA One Transmission. AAA One Transmission is locally owned and operated by Tim Pridgett, who's been servicing the Tallahassee area for over 37 years. Brakes, transmissions, electrical systems, tune-ups, and battery checks. No matter what ails your vehicle, AAA One Transmission can make your automobile healthy again. Don't put off your auto repairs. Stop it at 1023 North Monroe Street or call them at 222-2532.
There's a ship available. The USS Orville. I'm ready. You can count on me.
Fox Sunday. From Seth MacFarlane comes a brand new name in space adventure.
The Orville. The Orville.
The Orville. That's hot. It's the series being called hilarious, amazing, and sci-fi fun.
Boom! That's what I'm talking about. Boom!
The Orville from Seth MacFarlane. Series premiere Sunday after football on Fox.
Cool. This is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. It appears it was casinos, Tom. That's what they're telling us. Casinos.
Casinos could be owned by,
Yeah, casinos is what we're hearing. So it is, again, a reminder. I'll do it again at the top of the hour since some of you are still writing in, asking. I understand people are busy. They're preparing themselves and doing what's necessary to protect themselves from Hurricane Irma. The Florida State football game is still scheduled to be played. That will be at noon on Saturday. If you're wondering about that, if you're one of our out-of-town listeners and you're asking because you're trying to figure out whether or not you're coming, it's a noon game. It's no longer a 7 o'clock game. That was announced a lot earlier today. And, by all accounts right now, it looks like it's going to be played. But obviously, continue to monitor the devastating storm that is Hurricane Irma. Some sad reports already out there about what's going on in Bermuda and all that.
St. Martin, most certainly,
Yeah, it's tough. It's you hate to read that, but
with one right behind it.
Yeah, that's brutal. Cross your fingers. Let's hope that thing skirts up the right side and gets out away from the state, and we'll see what happens from
gets out into
here.
the Atlantic. Yeah.
And
then hopefully it's not too big of a nor'easter.
Well, right, yeah. You always feel bad. It's true when you say, "Well, I hope it goes here," but you realize it's going to affect somebody else.
To somebody.
But it's got to go somewhere else, right? NFL Week 1 affected by the storm, obviously, as the Bucs and the Dolphins will not play this game. They move it. Both had a bye in November, and the NFL has moved the game there. Now, again, running the risk of being just straight callous, we did wonder aloud why the NFL didn't have a contingency plan in place sooner. I think that's fair to wonder. I think it's also, if you're familiar with the show, it goes without saying that, of course, we care more about other things than football, but sports talk show. So I think the NFL could have easily made plans well in advance of this, making the announcement today. Really late last night, you began to hear whispers that's what they were going to do. You and I had wondered aloud why they hadn't started discussing their plans sooner. We all knew Irma was on the way some time ago. If you wanted to get this game in and avoid a situation in which both these teams now, from a safety standpoint, truly, this is, I mean this, and I'm not just saying it because I'm bummed they're not playing football, but now you're going to ask these two teams to play for 16 consecutive weeks. That's not a good idea. You don't typically want to do that. They got to get the games in, so I don't blame the union and I don't blame anybody there for agreeing to this. They got to play the games, but they had ample opportunity to move this game, play it earlier, play it maybe at Tampa, give the gate to Miami, whatever you had to do. But you had to do something other than this.
Yeah, you could allocate money back to the Dolphins. I'm sure there's a protocol in place when NFL games are played in London, as the Dolphins are doing early in October. I'm sure there's a protocol in place. If you're giving up a home game, you get X number of dollars in case, the gate or whatever sales go below the figure that you're used to for a home game that you're forfeiting. There's some protocol that could have been fired off there. But, to me, again, the moment they get off the call yesterday morning, and there's no resolution to the issue, that's just crazy to me. You've wasted minimum 12 hours of time that you could have been planning for a contingency, a location, and a night. And it should have been earlier in the week than later so that all of these players, team personnel, could return home in time to be with their families for when the storm arrives.
That's the big part of it. I don't know how much earlier or sooner they would have needed to play to satisfy the players, their families, stadium staff, all that stuff, workers. And I also don't know, admittedly, what it takes to move a scheduled football game from one location to one, let's say, out of the state. Say they decided, listen, we don't feel comfortable playing this in the state of Florida, given the impending storm, so we're going to move the game to Atlanta, or we're going to move the game to Charlotte. We're going to move the play somewhere in the South where those teams are on the road for their first week. We're going to play the game there. I don't know what all that entails. So, in fairness, there may be more to it than we know.
Sure, but it's $1 billion empire.
Oh, and they could easily do it. I just don't know what all it entails.
The Metrodome imploded, and they had to move to Detroit. You can do this if you really want to do it.
And they've done it, yes.
I think they fell back on the crutch of the bye week a little bit heavily here because they didn't want to trample on Thursday Night Football. I really honestly believe that. If this were a game between, Brady and the Patriots and Ben Roethlisberger, if it was Rodgers versus Dak Prescott and there were blue bloods of the NFL, I think they would have found a way to get that game done early so those teams that are going to be playoff ratings juggernauts don't have to play 16 straight. But because it's the Bucs and the Dolphins and they have the same bye week, what the hell? Let's stick them with 16 straight games. I think there's a little bit of truth to that, too.
It wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility. I don't put that past the NFL, and I get what you're saying. They don't want to trample on the Thursday Night Football game featuring the New England Patriots and the Kansas City Chiefs. I got you. The New England Patriots in particular.
And I'll bet you NBC weighed in and said, no. This is one of our banner nights. I think the network might be involved here. Selfish saying you're going to split some of the billing. You're going to take some of the heat off of our ratings. And right now, the ratings is the biggest thing for TV networks if you've been paying attention to the offseason, how they're going to count numbers differently. They're so concerned about the ratings.
So that game is postponed, and it will be made up in November. Final hour forthcoming. Stay with Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
You can tell a lot about a tractor by its warranty. That's why Mahindra makes the toughest tractors on earth. With steel, not plastic. Backed by the industry's best limited powertrain warranty, period. Not 5 years, not 6 years, but a full 7 years on select models. No wonder the other guys are green with envy.
No money down, 0% interest, and no payments until July. Available at TNT Supercenter.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Attention all business owners, it's here. 97.9 ESPN Radio has developed the Triple Play, Tallahassee's most effective advertising campaign. The Triple Play combines radio, TV, and the internet, and it's brought to you only by Tallahassee's #1 sports station.
Hi, I'm Travis Kelly, account executive here at 97.9 ESPN Radio. Call me at 561-8400 right now to find out more about the Triple Play advertising campaign and begin growing your business. It's football season. Everybody's listening. Call me, Travis Kelly, at 561-8400 to partner your business with Tallahassee Sports Master.
At Whole Foods Market, we believe in real food. Food that's full of nutrients, naturally vivid and colorful, fresh and delicious. Food that connects you to your body, to the seasons, and to the natural world. We believe food should nourish you and help you think. It should help you feel calm, clear-headed, and strong. It should help you do more, sleep better, and wake up happier. That's food that lives up to its name. We believe in real food. Whole Foods Market.
When it comes to live gaming excitement, Creek Entertainment Gretna is your hometown headquarters. With live poker and simulcast race betting, you've got more winning opportunities right here close to home. Plus, we now offer 3-card poker and Pai Gow in our card room. Satisfy big appetites at Stables, featuring hot and cold sandwiches, salads, and weekend specials. There's always something exciting going on at Creek Entertainment Gretna. I-10 exit 174, Gretna, Florida.
Can't decide between fresh steak, seafood, or wings? Well, Miller's Ale House on Appalachia Parkway has it all. From center-cut sirloin and original pastas to fresh salads and favorites like Miller's Signature Zingers, tossed in your favorite sauce. Miller's Ale House has a full-service bar featuring more than 75 beers, plus wine and liquors. Bring the family to watch the big game inside or on their covered patio on one of over 60 HD TVs. However you come to relax, you will have a good time and great food at Miller's Ale House on Appalachia Parkway.
Broadcasting live from the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac Studios. This is 97.9 ESPN Radio, WTSM, Woodville, Thomasville, Tallahassee.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Doug Brown. The Dolphins and Buccaneers won't play their scheduled game in Miami until Week 11 on November 19th. That game was postponed from Sunday's schedule by the approach of Hurricane Irma. Ravens quarterback Joe Flacco is ready to play in the season opener Sunday against the Bengals. Flacco missed all of training camp with a back injury. He says it's still not ideal, but he's ready to go. Schedule changes from college football too. The University of Miami cancels Saturday's scheduled game against Arkansas State. That game will not be rescheduled.
Time to upgrade your wardrobe with CT Shirts, the most exquisitely crafted, British-styled, crease-free shirts I've ever worn. One CT shirt normally costs $100. I got you 3 shirts for just $99. Go to ctshirts.com/ESPN. ctshirts.com/ESPN.
Live from the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Final hour of the Jeff Cameron Show, at least for today, and I thank you for tuning to it. A fine Balls McWednesday to you and yours. I'm Jeff, that's Tom. We're online, ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you're going to listen live via the streaming free. Always don't miss anything, but if you do, remember all 3 hours are going to be posted both on iTunes and in our own audio vault every day upon the conclusion of the show. You can email the program if you like. It's jcs@97.espnradio.com. You can find me on Twitter at JCameronShow, WTSM app. Good for your mobile devices, and you can watch us perform the program on YouTube. Go to ESPN Tallahassee on YouTube, and you'll see it all. Florida State, Louisiana Monroe, not the only team, certainly, to have their game altered or schedule changed, even games canceled. But Florida State is scheduled still to play, if you're just tuning in, against ULM this Saturday. Game's been moved from 7:20-ish to noon. And that's where we stand now. So noon kickoff for ULM, thanks to Hurricane Irma. That's our situation. Tampa Bay and Miami, as you just heard on SportsCenter there in the NFL, their first games of the year have been now moved into November, where they had a bye week simultaneous. So that's what's going to happen there. The Hurricanes have decided not to go to Arkansas State. Always a curious game anyhow. But they've canceled that game. No makeup date there. So the Canes are not going to be playing this weekend. I imagine this is just the beginning as we continue to watch the path of Hurricane Irma and wish everybody the best. And obviously, well wishes to all in South Florida currently where the hurricane is on its way. But contingency plans being made, I'm sure, at universities across the Southeast as we continue to monitor this.
Man, to see the videos on the ground from the islands.
That's nuts.
The sound that storm makes, it's I mean, I think it was the second fastest, second most organized and highest winds in history that have ever been recorded in the Atlantic Basin. So, yeah, to everybody who's in the path of the storm, be it in this country or any island nation or
man,
any
I feel
subsequent
so bad
place
for the
that goes.
Caribbean every time one of these things happen, man. I just those places there's no way to get out.
Correct. Yeah. There's no way to fly out, so you need to find a place and find shelter, and it's quite scary. If you see what happened to St. Martin, look that up today. Some of the videos from St. Martin. I mean, it's just pure devastation. We just had one stateside in Houston, and hopefully this thing just takes a hard right turn into the Atlantic Ocean and dies, but it just doesn't look that way right now. It looks like it's going to head up the east coast of the state at this point.
Yeah, and, you continue to see it. I don't want to be an amateur meteorologist here, but that's what happens is we all kind of monitor these things and follow the spaghetti patterns and all of that stuff. But it has been really hard to predict is the other problem for all the people in the state. I mean, you have a pretty good sense that South Florida is going to feel the impact of this. To what degree varies, of course. But as far as the rest of the state goes, it's really hard to get a feel.
I can remember late last week, when they were first projecting and Hurricane Irma had formed from Tropical Storm Irma, I think the number was 10 to 15% of hurricanes that form in this style make their way into the Atlantic Ocean, or I'm sorry, 10 or 15% don't make their way into the Atlantic Ocean. So if you're talking about our side of the state, most of them find their way up the east coast of Florida or into the Atlantic.
Right.
Anyway, even though I butchered that, you saw the cone, on this side of the state, west coast, into the Gulf Coast, landing anywhere from Louisiana to the Panhandle in Florida to Tampa Bay. And then yesterday it was, almost an even divide if you're looking around lunchtime between west coast, east coast of the state. As of this morning, a lot of models still had it going right up the middle of the state of Florida, and now it's shifting further east again. But you just can't know. So as long as everybody has their plans, because, again, from a podcast standpoint, we play everywhere in Florida. So I hope everybody who is potentially affected is taking every precaution and not risking anything that you don't need to risk.
Well, and then it gets weird, too, because you're trying to talk about football and talk about sports, and we know that a lot of people's minds are certainly not on that. But and we're not trying to be cold-hearted and only thinking about sports entertainment and all that other good stuff. No, we get it. But people do love escapism, and they need it at times like these whenever possible. And college football slate is a good one. We're not gonna lie about that. Hey, frankly, selfishly, the game being moved from 7 o'clock to 12:15 is music to my ears. Now, I hate the reason for that, but hey, it's really good news because this is a really good slate. I said it on yesterday's program. It's true, too. If you think back to last year we had this epic opening weekend of college football, and it was the talk of all of college football. Can you believe greatest opening weekend of all time? And we went through all the different games that were going to be on, and it was can't miss television, all that good stuff. But it led to a week 2 that was just for the birds. It was the worst, and everybody said, well, maybe I don't like all those games being stockpiled in week 1 because we got nothing to look forward to in week 2. Well, that's not true this year. Week 2 is spectacular. I really believe that even the middling games are really good games. I mean, I kind of joke about it, but there's a lot of competition in some of those lesser tier games that would make, I guess, just the people that love the sport and love competition and close games reason to be excited. But there are marquee matchups, Oklahoma and Ohio State being the biggest of those. But Auburn and Clemson, I think, figures to be a very good game. If you're going historically speaking, it's neat to see Georgia and Notre Dame face one another. Southern Cal and Stanford is another really big game. There are a lot of them out there this weekend. And so if you do need to kind of get away and get the storm out of your mind and you're afforded the opportunity and the luxury to be able to do that, you got a good slate. And the NFL gets started as of tomorrow. So there it is, off the bat tomorrow for Redemption Thursday. We'll have to take a look at New England and Kansas City getting the year started, and then obviously a full slate of games this weekend, save for Bucs-Dolphins, which is unfortunate. Now both those teams have to play 16 consecutive games. Very difficult to do without suffering through some sort of lull there.
Yeah, the one thing that Dirk Cutter did say today, as he did an about face to try and change his tune, because when he was first approached about weather delays and such earlier in the week, he responded as a coach should, I would think. You're inconvenienced by the weather change. You're not trying to be insensitive to anybody who's affected by a storm, but that's not your job. Your job is to win football games, put your team in position to make the playoffs, or you get fired. But he did change his tune today because obviously many people are going to be affected, and this was the decision. The decision was made, so let's move forward. He did say, this wasn't going to affect our team until week 10 or week 11 anyway. So you know what? Let's get to that point in the season, and hopefully we're 6-4. Hopefully we're 7-3 at that point, and we'll continue to want to play football. If we're on a roll, well, then we're not going to want to bye a week. We want to keep on playing the game.
Unless you're nursing injuries, and that's the hard part there.
Correct.
You got guys nursing various ailments. It's NFL football. They most assuredly will be.
And there's no doubt that by the time you get into December, late December, and you're trying to make a playoff run here in a really, really good division, at least it figures to be in the NFL, in the NFC South, yeah, you don't want to be running out of gas. What if you make the playoffs? What if you're in wild card weekend? That's a great problem to have, but all of a sudden, that's 17 straight weeks of football. At what point does the attrition really hurt you? Because, for all the NFL talks about player safety, this runs up right against it. Of course, you have human safety, and you have the safety of the markets that you have one of 32 teams, and in every market, you have to think about the safety of that market. What J.J. Watt's doing for Houston, for example.
Right.
You have to keep that top of mind. But on the other hand, there's also the player safety. You're playing 16 straight weeks of this brand of football.
We talked about it throughout the show off and on in the first 2 hours. I just really believe the NFL, like they do so many things, kind of just botched it. They're slow to react. I'd like to have more information and be able to say with great certainty that that's the case, but it's not as if we didn't know this storm was coming, and I know football is not the most important thing in the world, but in this case, it is something that you have to schedule and figure and work around, and they knew some time ago, before they met, before they had this original meeting, and before they had no resolution as of Tuesday, that this was a potential problem, and that you could move the game, and you could make allowances, and you could allocate funds to go back to the Dolphins, whose home game they would be losing. So I'm surprised it didn't happen. Then again, I shouldn't say that. It's the NFL, who were in the middle of talking about botching the Ezekiel Elliott situation, just as they did at times with the Tom Brady. I mean, from a PR standpoint, they find new and unique ways to really screw things up.
Do they believe, perhaps, maybe this is the answer to it, does the NFL believe that PR controversies such as this, since they're Teflon from a rating standpoint,
they have been Teflon, yeah,
might actually be good for them because it keeps them in the news cycle? Would they rather be controversial?
I don't think they're thinking quite along those lines. I don't know. Certainly, that's an old school idea that no news is bad news if it's,
Well, it keeps them,
keeps
front and center.
Front and center at all times and all that. Yeah.
If you've got 4 or 5 talking, listen.
They would anyhow. It's the start of the season. We've been starving for football all along. They don't need this kind of publicity.
Well, you'd say that they don't need it, and Roger Goodell doesn't need that because Robert Kraft is one of his biggest supporters prior to the Deflategate situation, but he just got renewed. So,
because he's making owners money. That's not going to ever change. If you make them money, you don't cost them money, moreover, and they feel like, let's not rock the boat. He's going to continue to get extended. They do a poor job. That's almost inarguable. I bet you there are owners who feel like he does a poor job. But again, because they've been Teflon and it's not costing them money, the billionaires keep getting to make millions and millions of dollars to fall back on. I think you're just going to see that he gets renewed time and again.
I know it sounds wacky, but it would kind of make sense in a weird way because they keep on consistently putting themselves in positions where you go, where is the upper management? At some point, the incompetence can't be that gross.
Well, the hubris of the NFL has been well documented, and there have been other billionaire owners and other sports have come out and said at some point you're going to see the NFL will eat itself, will fall in, And, we're still waiting on that. I mean, some of the numbers were down a year ago, but there's arguments as to why that was. And I think most of those arguments don't center around the off-the-field controversies that so many people talk about on a daily basis on sports talk radio or write about in the nation's papers. I mean, you see this a lot. I mean, I don't think the controversies, whether it's national anthem protests, whether it's concussions. Concussions might be a little bit different, but the perception that players can be renegade, whatever it might be, League of Mercenaries as I call it. I don't think that is a reason for a ratings shift. If you see, I will say this: if you begin to see problems in terms of the league's product diminishing, quality of product diminishing, that will be the first time that they're going to have a real problem from a rating standpoint moving forward. And I think that's coming. And I think that's coming for a couple of reasons. I think first of all, fewer people are playing football. So if you have the pipeline to the game diminishing of young star talent because their fear is safety, then the league's going to suffer. The quality of play is going to suffer. And I think that is beginning to reveal itself. Not at the highest levels. I think you're just starting to see it now at the lowest levels, that fewer and fewer people are signing up from a participation standpoint. We already talk about how that's how leagues survive, right? You get kids to play the sport, their parents watch it, etc.
Yeah, that would create a 10 or 15 year down the line problem where you're going to see differences in viewership. But
maybe sooner, because what happens then if you decide that the sport is dangerous and you don't want your kids to play it, then they go into something else and you begin watching that. And if it has a pro outlet, you begin watching those sports.
I suppose. I mean,
that has started to happen in soccer, for example, in this country.
Okay, if for whatever reason you decided not to let Bryce or Clark play football, I think you would still watch the game beyond work, beyond the mandate of what we do here and what town we're in and what sport we cover and we have to cover and talk about most.
I would, but not everybody will.
You think so? I really, honestly, I just think the NFL. The thing about traveling to, northern markets and some bigger markets that have professional teams.
That's all they care about.
When you get there, you realize that college football really isn't on the map in a lot of those places. And
certainly
the NFL,
not the Northeast, yeah.
And the NFL is the king. Like, even though New York is a baseball market, they love baseball, and if their basketball team, their NBA team, ever decides to be good at all, they'll flock back to that. I mean, it's still, Jets and Giants are big damn deals, and the Jets have been awful forever. They're the same as the Knicks in terms of incompetence. I mean, really, in the last 5 years, since Sanchez won that road game up in Indy, they've been on par with the Knicks, and people still turn out, and people still watch the Jets like crazy.
Bold prediction for the NFL this year. Any one team that you think, God, the experts got it wrong, I believe they're going to be pretty good. I have a sense you're going to say a team that we both agree is better than, A, we believe people think they are, and B, will sound odd for us to say.
Oh, buddy. Yeah, I have the quest for 8-8 every single year, and here we are on the eve of the season, and I don't know that I have the team lined up.
I brought it up for that reason because it is about to begin, and we do always do this. I pick a team, you pick a team, and we've actually each had success on that front. I think it's odd because I'll tell you who I want to take, but I know that it's awfully hard to do so given the quarterback situation because the other situations are better than people realize. Meaning the other segments.
Chicago?
Cleveland.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah,
Cleveland, if they had anything at quarterback, could be 8-8. They've got a good defense. And on offense, I like Isaiah Crowell. I think they have some pieces in play to be an average team. They're not going to be a good team. An average team. Cleveland, but they don't have a quarterback.
Would you allow me the quest for 6-10 for the San Francisco 49ers?
Why the Niners?
Would you allow me that?
Why the Niners?
Because their defense is insane, and Reuben Foster being added to that defense. They got Navarro Bowman back. Their defensive line's really good. Secondary is so-so, but that front seven's going to wreak havoc on run games. They're going to be able to rush the passer. I think they're going to be playing a lot of low-scoring games, and Kyle Shanahan is good enough of an offensive mind to at least, manufacture 14 to 20 points a game.
To your point, I've been really wrestling with first game of the season for San Fran, home opener. Carolina Panthers travel across the country right off the bat. I think that's a better game than Vegas has it. They're at Santa Clara, 91 degrees.
I just love the way that they've flown to the ball. I watched them, obviously, when they played Minnesota and Dalvin got rudely greeted to that game up in Minnesota and play one. But then I decided to go back and watch and just see what their front seven looks like. If it looks that good against offensive lines that are certainly better than Minnesota's, because most offensive lines are. And they got something working there. I mean, I'm not, again, it's a quest for 6-10, not the playoffs. But I think they're going to win a few more games this season than people would think, just because that defense is going to keep them in so many football games. And you know what the NFL is about. It's more about not losing the game than going out and winning the game.
Yeah, keep it close to the fourth quarter. Give yourself an opportunity to win the game. You know what I wonder about? And we got to move on. We're getting so caught up in the geekdom that is the start of the NFL, which occurs tomorrow. And I know we're in a college football market, but the beginning of the NFL is a big deal. I'm really, really curious. Do the Rams win any more than 3 games? I'll tell you why. They're going to start Jared Goff, and I've already told you I don't think he can play. So,
all right. So we think that
they got Sammy Watkins and Robert Woods at wide receiver, and they got Jared Goff, and then obviously everybody knows that running back is Todd Gurley,
and then Aaron Donald's still in a contract situation.
Yeah, I don't. Oh, if I put the over under 3.5 wins for the Rams, where are you going?
First blush under, if you're just going by, because I don't know how they're going to score a ton of points, and they're supposed to be a better offensive team than.
Well, I just don't trust the quarterback, and he's got a couple of guys you could throw to, and he's got a running back, but.
No, I think that division finishes San Francisco and then LA Rams. So there's your 3-4 slots.
Well, so then I'm going to let you go 6-10 with San Fran, maybe 7-9.
The quest for 6-10, can I do that? Does
I want you to
be 7-9?
I want you to fight 8-8. I want you to find the quest for 8-8. Mine would have been Cleveland. We're both taking bad teams and saying, hey, wait a minute, there's a couple of pieces.
I have to crunch the schedules tonight then.
Cleveland would have been mine. I need to look at their schedule too, but no quarterback makes that impossible. That's why the Rams are what we were saying, 3.5, 4, maybe.
That's a bad situation.
Ooh, ugly. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Blountstown Highway, 574-4100.
You can tell a lot about a tractor by its warranty. That's why Mahindra makes the toughest tractors on earth. With steel, not plastic. Backed by the industry's best limited powertrain warranty, period. Not 5 years, not 6 years, but a full 7 years on select models. No wonder the other guys are green with envy.
No money down, 0% interest, and no payments until July. Available at TNT Supercenter.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough, I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
FranksAutoWorld.com.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit beefy, or even with type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Affordable term life insurance is out there. Call Term Provider and speak with Big Lou at 800-481-1458. 800-481-1458 or visit biglou.com. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too.
Hello there. I'm the luckiest guy in the world. I've got 22 houses, 3 golf courses, and 4 boats big enough to be houses. Government's shut down if I forget to pay my taxes. Hey, we're broke. My 2 cents are worth millions. My checkbook is the most wished-for item on Amazon.
I want it!
When I tip at restaurants, the waitstaff retires.
Yeah!
But how did I do it all? That's my little secret.
Courier service, here's your big fat check from mybookie.ag.
I I'm kind of doing a thing here.
Stop pretending it's a secret. Anyone can win on MyBookie.ag. With 50% cash bonuses, great odds, and fast payouts, MyBookie.ag is a no-brainer.
Listen, kid, how much will it cost for you to be quiet?
How much you got?
Try your luck today at MyBookie.ag and use promo code RADIO.
Attention all business owners, it's here. 97.9 ESPN Radio has developed the Triple Play, Tallahassee's most effective advertising campaign. The Triple Play combines radio, TV, and the internet, and it's brought to you only by Tallahassee's #1 sports station.
Hi, I'm Nina Davis, account executive here at 97.9 ESPN Radio. Call me at 561-8400 right now to find out more about our Triple Play advertising campaign so we can grow your business. It's football season, so everyone's listening. Call me, Nina Davis, at 561-8400 to partner your business with Tallahassee's Sports Monster.
Tallahassee loves the corner pocket as much as a crystal ball winning catch.
He's looking, he wants it to the end zone. It's Benjamin! Touchdown! With 13 seconds left.
The 97.9 ESPN radio special is a must-have every Monday and Wednesday at the corner pocket. 10 mouth-watering wings, a fresh side of fries, and a chilled domestic pint of beer are just $9.79 all day long. Be sure and try the fish blend of sauces, a true wing eater's favorite. The Corner Pocket Bar and Grill.
He's gone!
Home of Trivia Tuesday, Beer Bingo Thursday, and the daily $7.99 lunch special.
Beef O'Brady's 2 for $20. The only hard part is choosing. First, pick a starter to share. Then pick 2 entrees like grilled shrimp and a steak bowl. All for $20. Beef O'Brady's, where 2 for $20 gets you plenty.
Barry knows cool. He's keeping you comfortable. Barry knows cool. You can put him to the test.
Don't let Tallahassee's hot summers get you down. Verano Heating and Air Conditioning can help in case of a breakdown, day or night. Their certified technicians can get you up and running in no time. Turn to the experts at Carrier and at Verano Heating and Air. Call 580-4029 or visit VeranoAC.com. Florida license number CAC 057652.
You're locked in with the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
My man William Floyd getting inducted into Florida State's Hall of Fame this weekend. I've gotten the invite, Tom, and I'm going to make my way over there to see my boy get inducted into the Hall of Fame this weekend.
Really?
I really hate that weather and game shift and all that, so we're going to have to – I don't know if that's getting moved. I got to reach out to him. If it's not getting moved, either way, congratulations, William. You deserve it.
I believe I saw it was being moved to the Louisville weekend, but I'm not 100%
Okay, did you see that?
certain
Yeah,
on that.
okay. All
I
right.
saw a report today out of the Democrat that said it was getting moved to Louisville.
Well, I was scheduled to go, and I knew it was later in the afternoon, so I figured, well, now that they moved the game, so they can't, possibly play the game and then do it, so that would have been weird.
Right, and then William actually joins the front row coming up at the top of the hour.
Very cool, very cool. Well, William's a great guy, and it seems impossible that I've known him for as long as I have. It means we're old is what it means. It doesn't – I'm serious. When he sent out the invitation and I got that, we were texting back and forth, and I said, first of all, congratulations. It was weird. It moved me. But I think it's because I've known him so long and that we've been through a lot. And anyhow, I started thinking about it. I think I met William. I think the first year I ever played football, organized football, I was 10-ish, something like that. Yes, I think that's so he would have been a year younger than me. Yeah. So right in there. And I'm 46. That's crazy. But he was always the best player on the field.
I was going to say, was he big, strong, and the best player?
He was ridiculous
back then.
He was pretty much always that way. Fun guy. Let's do a little Who's Hot, Who's Cold. As always, brought to you by Barano Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for Who's Hot?
It's so damn hot.
Who's Cold?
Looks like she's going to turn cold tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. Got a front coming in.
Yeah, you got that right.
Yes, sir. Who's hot? Who's cold? As is brought to you by Barano Heating and Air Conditioning. My friends at Barano Heating and Air Conditioning now 4 years ago? How many years ago is it from opening day baseball, Tom, when I got the 2 separate Carrier units added to my home?
I think it's 3 years and change, so it'll be 4 next opening day.
Saving me tons of money. They could do the same for you. Barano and Heating and Air Conditioning. Pros, just great guys. I've known Patrick and the guys there for a long time, and they do great work. And if you want, maybe you're in need of an air conditioning or heating unit upgrade, 850-580-4029. Pros again, and the service agreement is second to none. So, and they've got payment plans and all that good stuff. I understand most people aren't equipped to just write a check for a brand new air conditioning unit. They'll work with you no matter your credit and all that good stuff. All right, so who's hot, who's cold? This is, speaking of things that warm your heart about former Knowles, right off the bat, I know this makes you and I smile, happens to be the same position of running back. Chris Thompson, hot. Good on you, Chris Thompson. Signed a 2-year extension with Washington on Tuesday, and here's the deal. He had signed a 1-year, $2.75 million contract tender earlier this offseason. His extension now earns him $6.5 million in guaranteed money. And, you know, Tom and I have talked about Chris Thompson a lot on the air over the years. And there have been plenty of really talented players that came through here, some of which are more talented than Chris Thompson. So it may seem odd why we would talk about him so frequently, but it's not. It's because he's a really good kid, really good guy. I say kid, really good man, and a hardworking soul, and a guy that overcame a devastating injury. So you got to say 2 devastating injuries. You got to say, bravo. You want to talk about overcoming in this case, size deficiencies for the league, but also major injury. That is a level of stick-to-itiveness that is rarely matched. He's coming off his best season. He rushed for 356 yards on 68 carries, caught 49 passes for 349 yards, scored 5 touchdowns, also returned kicks. In 2016, he was also the first season Thompson that played for Chris that he played in all 16 games, so he remained healthy for a full season. He was productive in the role that he's asked to produce, and he's rewarded today $6.5 million in guaranteed money. Congrats, Chris Thompson.
Man, everything you said, I can just, again, it was my favorite moment in the aftermath of Florida State winning the national title in Pasadena was, of all people, someone who wasn't a member of that roster for 2013. I got to talk to Chris Thompson for a good 5 to 10 minutes about his career, about this team, about the past of it. Some of it I took on the record, but a lot of it was an off-the-record conversation. And I had talked to him 2 or 3 years prior when I was working actually day-to-day on the beat, and he gave me all the time in the world. He was, just glowing, so proud of the program, of the younger players that he helped bring up, like Devonta Freeman, for example. And he just, I don't even know how to say it other than if you think somebody is so nice that they have to be faking, that's the type of nice that he is.
Yeah, and it's genuine. So that's a beautiful thing, and congrats. He's gotten paid. Way to go, Chris. Venus Williams, also hot, returning to the U.S. Open semifinals for the first time since 2010 after defeating Vitova there 6-3, 3-6, 7-6, in what was a fun match to watch. Williams is the oldest women's semifinalist of any Grand Slam tournament since Martina Navratilova at Wimbledon way back in 1994, and I remember that very well as well. Venus will face unseeded Sloane Stephens on Thursday in the first All-American women's semifinal in New York since?
Hingis versus Graf.
2002, and Martina Hingis, All-American, man. Graf was not American.
Graf wasn't American?
No, and neither was Hingis.
Really?
Yeah, look up Martina Hingis.
Okay.
I could be wrong.
There you go. I could be.
No, look
man, I'm not an authority on women's tennis history.
No, man. But anyhow, now you know the answer is it's the first since 2002. Alec Eberle, also hot, according to collegefootballstats.com. Alec Eberle was the only Florida State lineman that did not allow a quarterback pressure in that 24-7 loss. So
there you go, Switzerland versus Germany.
Yeah.
What the hell do I know?
Yeah, I thought for sure you'd know Steffi Graf wasn't, but
no, I didn't.
Thick accent. No.
Well, I never watched the post-match interviews back in those days, and plus they don't put the flag next to their names like those back then. It was just the names. So how am I supposed to know?
Anyhow, so Well, and also that was way back when, so I will give you a little pass. You were a youngin, because it seems fresh to me. So I'm like, yeah, man, neither of those were American. Come on now, get it together. Martina wasn't American either, just so you know. Navratilova was not an American.
Well, I could have guessed that one, yeah. Was Capriati American?
Yes.
She was American.
Ask me about some more ladies. Let's see. Chris Everett Lloyd, American, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, definitely American.
I bet I do. Chris.
She was beautiful.
Oh, yeah? Back in the day,
Back in the day, absolutely. I was in love with her.
That's about it. No, Sharapova's not.
No, definitely not.
She's trained in America.
She's Russian.
Yeah, she's Russian.
All the way through. And a cheater.
That's all I got for you.
You want to name another?
No, really. I don't know that I can.
Oh, I could go through and prattle on a lot of women's. So all of the women that came up at that time.
Billie Jean King?
American.
Okay.
Definitely American. I was going to say something, just definitely American.
Okay.
And you remember. All right, let's go to cold. ACC football. The ACC struggled in non-conference games versus Power 5 teams, finishing 2-4 in week 1. North Carolina lost to Cal 35-30. I kind of thought they would lose.
Monica Seles?
American.
Oh, okay.
Well.
Ooh. I think she was American. I'm going to go with American.
Yes, but okay, yes, but pull that up. I want to see something. I'm kind of curious about something. By the way, an old edition of this show, way back when, and TPE will remember this if he's listening, will remember a long conversation that I would no longer be able to have on these airwaves about Monica Seles.
Depending upon how you look at it.
That's why I said, hold on a second.
Yugoslav, #1 professional tennis player.
Yes.
But also identifies as American and Hungarian these days.
Right. Well, and that's the thing. Later in the career, yeah, okay, so I wasn't crazy. Not really American. But accepted, certainly, as American. And a great champion before she was stabbed in the shoulder by a lunatic fan on the court.
I know Venus is American, but is Serena Williams American?
Absolutely. American and American. Beautiful. Kicking ass. ACC, as I said. NC State lost to South Carolina 35-28. Florida State lost to Alabama 24-7. Georgia Tech lost to Tennessee inexplicably 42-41, despite outgaining them by over 1,000 yards. I made that up. Louisville struggled with Purdue. Also, Pitt struggled to get past Youngstown State 28-21. So, some issues there. Cold, Florida's offense under Jim McElwain. You going to give me another one? I saw you looking over there. I thought you were still looking back.
TPE, just his ears are hurting because apparently it's just hubris with the women's tennis stuff. He's really...
What is he saying?
He said it's fraught with peril, the discussion. Abandon.
Yeah, he wants to abort the discussion because he knows of some of my opinions, his too, and I'm the only one hosting a radio show in this discussion, so that's why. Yeah.
You guys have had a discussion about this. All right.
We go back a ways. Jim McElwain, Florida's loss to Michigan marked the 13th time in McElwain. I love that he's got our back. Florida's loss to Michigan marked the 13th time in McElwain's 28 games that the Gators were held to 20 points or fewer. This includes defensive and special team scores. Florida's offense has now failed to score a touchdown in 4 games under McElwain. Sweet Jesus. 3 of which have come in the last 7 games. 33-17 to Michigan on Saturday, 31-13 to Florida State in 2016, 31-10 to Arkansas in 2016, 27-2 to Florida State. Florida totaled 11 net rushing yards against Michigan. It's the 4th time under McElwain that the Gators have had less than 15 yards rushing in a game. The Gators finished with just 192 total yards of offense, their fewest since logging 180 yards against Alabama in the 2015 SEC championship game. In the 10 seasons from 2006 to 2016, Florida finished with less than 200 yards just 6 times. They do it now on the regular, and that is Who's Hot, Who's Cold, brought to you by our friends, Barano Heating and Air Conditioning. More of the Jeff Cameron Show momentarily.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
You can tell a lot about a tractor by its warranty. That's why Mahindra makes the toughest tractors on earth. With steel, not plastic. Backed by the industry's best limited powertrain warranty, period. Not 5 years, not 6 years, but a full 7 years on select models. No wonder the other guys are green with envy.
No money down, 0% interest, and no payments until July. Available at TNT Supercenter.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough, I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Fishing Florida Radio is brought to you by Sea Quarters Marina off Highway 98 in Carabel. Sea Quarters Marina, your full-service marina, and presented by Hobbit American Grill, locally owned and operated since 1978.
Don't just listen to The Jeff Cameron Show. Watch it live. The Jeff Cameron Show Streamcast. Live weekdays 3 to 6 p.m. Head to ESPNTallahassee.com today to watch live or catch up on demand. The Jeff Cameron Show Streamcast. Brought to you by Nice Tire and Auto, your trusted Goodyear dealer. 574-4100. And presented by TNT Supercenter in Thomasville, Georgia. And Franklin Spring Creek Ford.
And now, a Sport Clips well-played moment.
Gentlemen, the mind of the human male is a peculiar thing. Every day we walk through a car wash of external stimuli, from the eyeballs to the ear holes, to exotic hot dog smells, to imported energy drinks. So does our mind wander? You bet it does. Wait, what was I saying? Oh yeah, that's why Sport Clips is Sport Clips. They make a haircut memorable, but with as little thought required from us as possible. A great MVP haircut experience with a hot steam towel, massaging shampoo, and sweet, sweet sports on TV. So if that man in the mirror looks like an island castaway, or just has some hair that needs attention, well, you've got this solved because you know Sport Clips. And if you're already looking Sport Clips handsome, well played, sir. Well played.
Sport Clips haircuts. Find a location near you at sportclips.com.
97.9 ESPN Radio is proud to announce that Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac High School Scholar Athlete of the Month is back. We'll announce the monthly winners beginning next Wednesday morning from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. and again during the Jeff Cameron Show from 3 to 6. Last year, 8 female and 8 male athletes won the monthly honors and were automatically qualified as a finalist for the Dale Earnhardt Jr. $2,500 year-end scholarship. Last year, Leon High's Anna K. Ford and Rickard's Taven Jackson took home the grand prizes. Since its inception 3 years ago, Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac has given out over $20,000 in scholarship awards to high school athletes throughout the Big Bend. Beginning next week, you can check out all the Athlete of the Month winners by visiting our website, ESPNTallahassee.com, and help support our friends at Dale Jr. Check them out on the corner of Capitol Circle Northeast and Miccosukee, or visit them online at Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac.com.
Front Row Knowles with Tom Block and Keith Jones. Brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener. And presented by Hobson Chevrolet of Cairo, Georgia. Wednesday nights at 6 on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Attention all business owners, it's here. 97.9 ESPN Radio has developed the Triple Play, Tallahassee's most effective advertising campaign. The Triple Play combines radio, TV, and the internet, and it's brought to you only by Tallahassee's #1 sports station.
Hi, I'm Nina Davis, account executive here at 97.9 ESPN Radio. Call me at 561-8400 right now to find out more about our Triple Play advertising campaign so we can grow your business. It's football season, so everyone's listening. listening. Call me, Nina Davis, at 561-8400 to partner your business with Tallahassee's Sports Monster.
Live from the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Well, bravo, JetBlue. Unlike other places, you're doing the right thing. Did you note that?
Yeah, $99.
JetBlue has capped ticket prices out of Florida at $99 ahead of Hurricane Irma. By the way, spoke with Lee Sterling earlier today of Paramount Sports, who lives in South Florida and is skedaddling. And he was giving me an example of unbelievable price gouging. He had checked 2 days earlier on a flight out of Miami to North Carolina where he was heading, and tickets were $500 and something, which is not unreasonable at the last second. And within 24 hours, the same flight with seats still available were $1,600.
Yeah, there was a lady today who her tweet went viral, and it ended up that the airline helped her out. I wonder why.
Oh, imagine that.
But she was looking at a flight for about $500, and it went up to $3,200 to get out of Miami in time. Thanks, Delta. But they fixed it for her.
Oh, I'm sure they did. Yeah, that's a shame. All right, let's do this thing, Tom. Cue it up, buddy.
Ready for a cold one?
Yep.
Proof Brewing Company in Railroad Square Art Park presents What's on Tap. So, Jeff, what'll it be?
I don't know. What are you doing tonight?
Man, tonight's the night before NFL football starts.
Yeah,
so
but that doesn't help us. That's not on tap
it's a
for
chores
tonight.
night.
Yeah, it's a chores
Chores
night.
are on tap while I'm enjoying, I don't know,
a cold, tasty beverage from our friends at Proof, right?
There you go.
Yeah, no, I'm going to get to that in a moment. I'm just, what's on tap? Well, I got to do the golf show on the PGA Tour Network that I do with my good friend Trey Jones, who is the head coach at Florida State University. This particular golf season's about to get underway, so I'm sure we'll be talking Walker Cup in the upcoming season. So that's what's on tap for me. But that's not. It doesn't lend itself. Maybe afterwards it lends itself to me having a tall, cold Proof.
For me, Wednesday night
850.
It's chore night because it's the.
You have a designated chore night?
Well, yeah, I'm trying to ration these things out.
I like it.
A lot of times we'll have the Man Cave show on Tuesday. We don't this week, but next week it'll return to that. And then, of course, on Thursday you have football starting. So
Can't be bothered with chores on a Thursday.
Wednesday just kind of fits nicely before you get into the downhill portion of the week. Because the next thing you know, if you don't do your chores, by Friday night we get done with our shows from the Seventh Hill Tap Room underneath the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. Well, what are we doing? I got a bunch of stuff to do, and there's football to be played tomorrow. That's not cool, so today has to be the day.
Proof Brewing Company and For the Table Hospitality present the 5th Annual Florida Tap Invitational, September the 29th and 30th, one of North Florida's largest two-day beer festivals. VIP and general admission tickets are available online, FloridaTapInvitational.com. Thanks, Proof. We appreciate you. All right, man. That's good stuff. I'm excited about that. Yeah, I guess, if you just do a little bit on a Monday and a little bit on a Tuesday and a little bit on a Wednesday, then you don't have anything to worry about.
I know Papa Cameron. I've heard that before.
You don't have to do it all up.
It just doesn't happen that way. Yes, I need to do more on a Monday. You're right, but I don't.
No. All right. That's the end of the season for Hard Knocks, and it was one that featured Bobo Wilson making an ass of himself, and I am really stunned to see Tampa Bay has not just decided to tell him to go to hell. That was bizarre, watching a guy who is on the cusp of not making the team, shouldn't have probably made the team, doesn't really offer much. He's not a stud receiver. At best, he's a marginal special teams guy. They tell everybody that prior to cut day, the final cut down, be available at 1 o'clock to come to $1 plays. Where is he? He's in Miami. He just takes it upon himself to head down to Miami. Okay. Well, then they call him, and he's not real sure he can be bothered to get back in time to be asked to sign a contract to play professional football on the practice squad. No. I can't quite fathom how it is they were going to bend over backwards for him. That seems awfully odd to me. I know he's a Knoll, all that good stuff. I don't know how Jimbo Fisher and his teammates dealt with that guy. No way in hell.
Well, if it was like that here, maybe Coach didn't stand for it to go to that degree. Because to me, again, if you're just looking at some of the conversations that Hard Knocks showed between operations personnel, the general manager, head coach, basically the front office and the coaching staff, they all said after that incident and that Bobo was in Miami, well, that's Bobo. Well, okay.
Well, what do you mean? Yeah.
Well, that's Bobo.
Well,
for
he's
a practice
not a good enough.
squatter?
Yeah, he's not a good enough player to ignore those transgressions or those poor decisions.
If you had to say, well, that's Gerald McCoy, okay, well, that's Gerald McCoy. You're going to have to deal with it because he's going to go to the Pro Bowl again this year because he's a really good interior player.
Right.
But for your last man signed to your practice squad, well, that's typical Bobo. Huh?
I couldn't believe it. I really was stunned. And it could very well be, to some extent, it can't be all of it, that they're framing this a certain way, that there are conversations in between that we're not privy to. But I mean, you heard him when he got yelled at the first time on the show, and that wasn't a good look for a guy who's fighting to make a roster. And then you see this play out, and you think, what in the world? It was strange, very strange.
Unless they patently cut and paste Jason Light's comment from some other topic to this topic, which is completely irresponsible. When the general manager says this may be the straw that broke the camel's back, okay, he's at his wit's end for a practice squad guy. His wit's end. That's insane. They even had a line last night about Jeremy McNichols, who decided to go play practice squad for the 49ers.
I was about to rant about him as well.
Well, the one line, I'll let you rant about him because it is your show, of course, Jeff. But the one line was, well, why would we want to put up with that bleep? Why would we want to put up with that crap anyway if he's going to give it? Well, yeah, how about applying the logic to the receiver?
Well, I think the thing of it is, too, it's weird. I don't know if that's the byproduct of kids that are of a different generation that we hear about all the time, not able to handle adversity or to be confronted in certain ways causes their sensibilities to they're fragile. They can't handle it. I don't know, but it seems odd to me that when you're on the verge of being at best a practice squad player and then you're not real sure you can be bothered with coming back by 1 p.m. I mean, I'd have cut your ass in a millisecond at that point. But McNichols, that situation's really bizarre. I mean, that kid was terrible the entire time he was here or in Tampa because he didn't know the playbook. Now, if you're saying, well, the ability maybe is there, he's just dumb as a rock and we need to give him more time to learn the playbook, okay, that's fine. That happens. Sometimes, certain schemes, certain playbooks, certain kids struggle with that, and that's fine. Guys struggle with that, but you give them more time if they have the ability. But not if they give you attitude. Not if you're almost cutting them a favor. And again, I'm not one of these guys that believes players should have to kowtow and half step and walk on eggshells to deal with a team or a coach or anything like that. I'm not saying that, but I am saying that you kind of got to know your role, know your place in the organization, know where you're at.
Man, I mean, they showed Sefo getting cut last night, fourth-string quarterback that we knew was never going to make it, and Dirk had a blunt conversation with him talking about how, listen, in practice, I was afraid of what I was watching because it didn't seem like you commanded any of the concepts. But then you put it all together in the game, and I think that's great for you. I'll recommend you to anybody who wants to give you a tryout in the future because, you know what, it seems like you have a knack to assimilate and get it done on a game day.
Yeah.
And Sefo said, I'm disappointed, but I appreciate the opportunity. You could be honest and say you're disappointed. I mean, Riley Bulla he's a slow-footed linebacker who's going to make the practice squad. He says, I appreciate the opportunity. I'm disappointed, of course, but I knew making the 53 would be a tall order. But I appreciate the opportunity.
Well, but those are people that have a firm grasp on the reality of their situation. I mean, that's, again, good self-awareness. I think with guys like Bobo and some of these others that you see, I don't know that they're really – I mean, I get there's a level of arrogance you have to have that you take with you into a camp and a belief that you have in yourself that maybe go above and beyond what your ability suggests you could do, but – when confronted with the reality, you can't be a bitch.
No. The thing is, too, that they had to have seen something tangible from a return game standpoint because there's no reason to think that he would fit as a top 5 receiver on the actual 53-man roster from a pass-catching standpoint. I get that he and Jameis have a good relationship from Florida State, and Jameis goes to bat for him, and the episode showed that much. But if I'm Jameis Winston watching that episode, I'm sick to my stomach, the disrespect.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm the guy, if I'm Jameis, that stood on the podium in Week 17 2 years ago after the Carolina loss and said, we need to be better. We're going to be accountable. We're going to be better because Adam Humphries is here and how hard he works. Bobo is spitting in the face of all of that.
Oh, sure, and I got to imagine Jameis is, probably mortified. I also imagine that it would be the right time to use your leadership and your connection to put your arm around the guy and go, yo, man, you got to understand this is different. This is not Florida State. This is professional football. Nothing is owed you. Here's the deal. Yeah, I'm surprised. Hey, let's real quick do probables. Let's fire it up. We still have time, and there is baseball being played tonight, and that could be something that's on tap. Here you go.
It's time for, how you say, with the pitching, probables?
Rangers, Braves, Cole Hamels, Julio Teheran. We got Angels, Athletics, Tyler Skaggs, Sean Manaea. Boom, boop, 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 boop. Hey, the Pirates beat the Cubs again yesterday. My goodness. Cubs, Pirates. We'll see if the Cubs can get off the schneid and beat the Pirates. I don't know. Jose Quintana goes for the Cubs. Garrett Cole can go for the Buccos. That'd be a sweep. Royals, Tigers. Jason Hamill and Matthew Boyd. Rapid fire, Phillies, Mets. Nobody cares. Pavetta and Gesselman. We got Gesselman, Jays, Red Sox. Biggini, Doug Fister. Nats, Marlins, Gio Gonzalez, Dylan Peters.
Every time with that.
Indians, White Sox, Carrasco, Lopez. Giants, Rockies, Johnny Cueto, Kyle Freeland. And D-backs, Dodgers. Tawan Walker, Kent Tomato. Final, Astros, Mariners. Lance McCullers Jr., Andrew Moore. Yeah, I forgot about you, Cardinals, Padres, Jack Flaherty, and Lamet. And that's a look at those that shall reside on the up. Front row Knowles. Good guys all the way around. This is just going to be a bevy of good guys doing good radio coming up next. I know that Tom Block, Keith Jones, hosts of the Front Row Knowles, will welcome in my man William Floyd and my man Tim Linnefeld. How about them apples? All the goodness. Stay tuned. Good work, Tom. Good work, Matthew. Thanks for listening, everybody. Be well.